fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that Mile High Broncos country.
The Denver Broncos select Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. Good evening, Broncos country, and welcome to Draft Night. It is here. We are ready to go, and the four of us are going to get you started off here today. We got Adam, we got Scott the Flagman, and we got Spotty. You guys are fantastic for helping me out tonight. We're going to get some of the other guys rolling in later. We got Jared, we got John, we got David. So we're going to be cycling out throughout the night to cover the draft and everything. So before we get this going, guys, just really quickly, Adam, how you doing, buddy?
This is like one of the happiest days of the year, para mio. So I'm psyched. I'm always like, oh, it's just like that. It's like a kid on Christmas. You're getting ready to open your new toy, and you're getting ready to like envision all the cool stuff you're gonna do with it. And yeah, I'm psyched. I'm ready.
I love it. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
You know, this is basically a lot of people say free agency and when they do all the stuff, all the gymnastics in Indianapolis, that's the first day of football season. This right here, this is where it starts, and I can't wait. I just, man, I get all just giddy. So I'm excited. I'm really stoked. I was kind of texting and talking to the Mad Fanatic, and he's excited, and he gave me a big old spiel about Hampton out of Ohio State. So that's who he's looking at.
Awesome. This is great. Well, Spotty, how are you doing, man? What you got going on?
Hey, I'm just like everybody said, man. This is that time. This is the potential prospect that could be the next All-Star, the next All-Pro, the next Denver Bronco great, right? So I 100% am excited about this, mostly because of the upward trend of the team over the last couple of years, right? Like we quietly have put together some incredible draft classes under George Payton, and now with Sean Payton and part of the helm. I 100% believe that whoever is going to come be a part of our team tonight, if we stay in the first round, of course, is going to be a trendsetter, someone who's going to really make a difference for this young team.
Yeah. And well, thanks, Spotty. This is going to be good, and I'm really excited to hear your inputs as well. Jared, buddy, thanks for joining me, man. It's good to see you here, and you got the hat on. I love it. You're ready to go. What do you think, bud, before we get going with this whole thing? Can't hear you, buddy. No sound.
Hey,
no sound. So
the
build-up was real.
Jared mishap.
We were so ready to hear what you had to say, and now we're just going to have to wait. We're just going to have to wait. Just like we're going to have to wait for the Broncos pick. Yeah. You do your mime impression. Hey, while we do that, guys, before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I did say multiple times that we're going to be giving away multiple of these draft night caps. Now, I'm going to go over some instructions on how we're going to give these out tonight. But I just want you to be aware that you're going to have to pay attention throughout the draft, because I'm not going to tell you all up front how we're going to do this. But in general, if I pull the screen back up, I have gone ahead and picked 3 rounds three selections within the first round. Okay. When we get to that pick, I will announce this is a hat giveaway, prize giveaway round. Okay. during that round, when the team's on the clock, we will talk about who we think the team's going to pick. We're not going to pull any punches. We're not going to throw any, like, red herrings in there or anything like that. We'll talk about what we think the team's going to do. As soon as we get word that the pick is in, I am going to give the go-ahead that all of the viewers here have 1 minute to enter one name of who they think is going to get picked in that round. If you are correct and you're the one who picked that player correctly first, you win a hat of your choice, one of the draft night caps. So get ready for it, guys. This is going to be a fun round. I have the pick selections already selected. I know what we're going to do. It's going to be great. So get ready for it, guys. But let's get Jared back up here and see if we can hear him now.
Nope,
still nothing. Okay. You give me the thumbs up when you're ready, buddy. Or add yourself back in since you have that ability. And according to Roger Goodell, the draft is officially open, guys. So here we go. We're looking at Tennessee being on the clock. Open discussion. Everybody in the comments, let's hear what you guys think. What is Tennessee going to do? Obviously, number one pick. We all have a really good idea, but chime on in. What do you think?
You know what? First off, I just want to say, I think it's BS that they get a whole 10 minutes. They've had about 2 months to decide who's the first pick. So, like, one of
they
these
gotta make
games,
sure.
In all fairness, they've had 2 months where literally the second pick is like, I don't know if I'm going to trade up or not. So I'm going to throw that out there. But I think the Titans would be crazy not to go with Cam Ward, because if I have to hear about Mason, what's the guy? No, Will Levis eating mayo in his coffee anymore, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm never gonna watch the Titans again if I hear about how much mayo this guy keeps.
That really should have been just a disqualifier when he was drafted. It should have just come up in the pre-draft stuff. Like, hey, Will, what do you like to do in your free time? I like to drink coffee with mayonnaise in it. Oh, don't call us, we'll call you. I don't know, but Spotty, I'm right with you, man. This is, I mean, I don't know that there's any mystery to this. The Titans have already made their intentions pretty clear. The first pick is going to be Cam Ward, whether you like Cam Ward or not. Very volatile pick. Very high upside. Also, a lot of playground in him. A lot of playground player in him. So if you can maximize that, good. If you're gonna, but that's gonna be the X factor to him.
First off, okay, it pisses me off, and I know Green Bay is the mecca of football, but how the hell do those Sun Guns get a draft with nothing? I mean, they got 12 terminals in their airport. We can't get a draft in Denver with the same kind of damn setup. All they're doing is they're doing it in the parking lot.
Yeah,
bullshit, man. Bullshit,
right?
Right? That does piss me off more than the 10 minutes they're giving the Titans. But I agree, they're going to take Cam. But I'm a little irritated by this whole Green Bay thing.
I could tell.
Sure.
It looks cool though.
I've only taken 2 drinks of beer. We might be a little more mellow by third pick.
That's awesome. Well, like it's pretty much a lock for who we expect here in the first round with 7 minutes left on the clock, and of course they'll take up the whole time to see if anyone calls the last second to desperately pick. But one of the big things that is going to really impact how this draft develops, I think, is how the quarterbacks go, and primarily talking about Shedeur Sanders and if he's going to drop. So while we're waiting, let's talk about what are your guys' thoughts. Do you guys expect Shedeur Sanders to fall, and what kind of impact is that going to have on the Broncos?
Adam looks like he's got something he wants to
say. Now, disclaimer: I am a CU guy. I bleed black and gold. I am very appreciative for what he has done for the school. That being said, the fatal flaw with him is the egg timer in his head a little bit. He doesn't have it, and it's been that way since his days at JSU. If Sean Payton has taught us anything, guys that get sacked a lot in college tend to get sacked a lot in the pros. I think that'll be his undoing, just because he's not a physical athlete. If anything, his game kind of reminds me a little bit of Drew Brees, a little bit. So I think New Orleans for him would make a ton of sense at 9. It's really going to depend what team loves him, because there are certain guys that love Shedeur Sanders. There are people like me who are a little on the fence about him. His drafting is going to push down the player to us. So the farther he goes down, or the farther he has the potential to slide, I think is going to be more fortuitous for the Broncos, because I think that means a guy gets pushed down to them that we may not have expected him to be there.
My thought on this whole thing, Shadeur's his own worst enemy. I think he can be a great quarterback. He's got great accuracy. He's got a good arm. He's not despite a lot of people thinking he's a running quarterback, he's not. He's got to work on being better and being on time. But it's all the other junk that kind of comes with him. And, it just wasn't a real good decision to decide to put out your rap album before your draft. I mean, that could have probably waited till, I don't know, after the first year. But sure. I don't know. I'm kind of old school. I like swagger. I just don't like cockiness when you really haven't accomplished anything. And right. I think sometimes that sets you up for a real big ass fall when you elevate yourself way above where you are. And then if you don't deliver, you are going to have some haters tearing you down. And even if he's good, they're going to be working on that. I don't know. I think it's hurt him doing some of the junk he's pulled, but he's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. And hell, if we hadn't already got our quarterback, I would have been super excited about the fact that he was dropping. I've seen a couple of them where he's getting picked up by the Steelers at not moving up, but at 21. That's crazy.
Yeah. I would say so. So that's going to be one of the big stories to watch tonight, guys, because that is really going to impact what the Broncos end up doing. There's already rumors about a lot of teams inquiring to the Broncos about, what they'd be willing to trade away to give up that spot. And I don't think the Broncos are going to be stupid about it. If there's a guy that they want, they'll get that guy. If they're ready to make a deal, they'll make the deal. And I fully trust this front office team to get everything in place. So cue the boos. Boo! The good Roger Goodell is walking out on stage. And here we go with the announcement. I'm guessing Cam Ward.
Since this is going to be a long thing, I'm going to say my disclaimer is I'm a CSU Ram. Okay, so
that's all right.
But that being said, Stewart falling, it only helps us.
Yes.
All right. That was like a minus 1,000 draft pick, I think. If you bet money on Cam Ward being number 1, you had to bet a lot of money to get anything from that.
You had to bet a bajillion dollars to make 10 cents.
Right. Yes. But just to kind of keep going into it, like Shedeur, I think he can help us out the best by sliding, okay? Yes. Because I think there's going to be a lot of other crazy stuff that's going to happen here in the first round that's going to make it so there are particular prospects that everybody keeps saying the Broncos are going to go after. I think that prospect's probably going to go top 5, that being Genty, and that way that the Broncos aren't going to trade up. We might look for people to trade out of that 20 spot. There it is.
Yep.
Trade?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah. You have a trade?
I have it on mute. I have the TV on mute, so we don't have feedback.
Smokes, they traded the farm.
Wait, what happened?
The Jaguars.
I'm way behind you guys. I'm just trying to stream it. It's not working for me.
Yeah.
David is in the group chat sent us, but he didn't tell us. The Jags just traded the farm to get up to number
Travis?
2. Which
you think that's who they're going for? Is Travis?
I think they're going for Al. I think they're going for Genty.
No way. Not number 2.
They traded up to number 2.
What do they need Travis Hunter for?
Yep.
Like, are you telling me that
guys?
Are you telling me for the Jaguars that you would go for Travis Hunter over Genty? I think he's a better prospect.
Depending on how you feel about Travis Hunter, I think the biggest question on him is he going to play enough on either side of the ball to make a difference on either side of the ball? But if you if you love that pick, do you take Travis Hunter?
Trade everything to get him though.
I just don't know.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. To go from 2 to 5 is like it's usually first round next year.
If you're going by the draft value thing, yes, those are premium picks going to Cleveland. Which that's smart on Cleveland if they were able to get their guy, 3 picks later versus at number 2.
Yeah, unless they're looking at getting Carter. Right
now, I would move heaven and earth for
that would
for
make
Alvin
sense.
Carter.
I wish we could have Abdul Carter.
I would move heaven and earth for Abdul Carter. Any of the other guys that we're throwing out there for Travis Hunter? Well, I love Travis Hunter or Ashton Jennings. Those would not be. Those were
not to trade like that.
No,
I definitely get the appeal in Travis Hunter in the first round. Don't get me wrong. Because he's one of those guys you can play him both ways. It almost saves you a roster spot, right? Like you have so many places on the roster you can put people. You have someone that can play special teams, wide receiver, and corner. That gives you an extra roster spot to do whatever you want with. But I don't think you're trading that much to get that guy.
I've got it. The Browns are trading the 2 overall pick, a 4th round pick, 104, and a 6th round pick, 200 to the Jags. The Jags are trading the 5th, a 2nd round pick, 36, a 4th round pick, 126, and their 2026 1st round pick to the Browns.
1st round.
Wow.
I mean, that's normal for trading up the top 5.
Be in this spot next year. Okay.
Clay agreed. What a trade. Yeah, making splashes at the very beginning of the draft. I love it.
Hey, Browns are about to have the 1 and 2. Browns are about to have the 1 and 2 pick of next year's draft. It's gonna be great.
Let's see. I mean, because talk was if Shedeur Sanders is still there at 20, do the Browns? I know the Browns are one of the teams they're talking a lot about trade back up to get Shedeur Sanders. So do they get the Broncos pick at that point? Either way, what I am being told is that the pick is in.
Nice.
Man, I think if they're smart, they go for, I think, generational player. And I've said this to the chat, okay? I believe that Travis Hunter, I saw this from somebody, they say he's a unique talent. That is 100% true. We probably won't find another player like Travis Hunter for the next, decade or so, right? Unique talent. That doesn't mean that by any means of whether it be a cornerback or a wide receiver, he's something that we've never seen. He's the best we've seen.
No,
that Carter might be a Micah Parsons. He might be that next edge rusher that gets you 10 to 15 a year. So it's like, okay, what kind of situation do you put yourself in? You want somebody who he's going to sell tickets and might make a couple of Pro Bowls, or someone who might retire their number in the arena one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, really quickly, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name, man. I'm just going to call you OWB810. I'm going to say that you're the first person that we've at least known about watching from the country of Jordan. So we are well-known international here at Bourbon Broncos. Yes. So thank you for tuning in all across the world for tonight's draft party. Make sure you hit that share button, hit that like button, and get some more comments and everything going in, guys. This is going smoothly so far. So
they're showing Travis. Let's see if that's who they're going for.
It's not with his girlfriend. Looks like his mom.
I'm so far behind.
You think his mom was going to let his girl be in the picture? Come on. We've all seen enough memes from the NFL draft where they're like girlfriend or fiance who's like, I want it big too.
Fast forward 4 years and it's like, who's this?
Like
Look at
Mahomes
Russell
and his
Wilson
girlfriend at the
draft
time,
picks, okay?
and that all fell apart. Yeah.
So this is the other thing. Again, you trade up to this position, and then you have 10. You know why you trade up. Put the pick in, dude.
Oh yeah, no doubt in their mind. All right, good.
All right,
Lord,
let's-
Solomon Thomas is big.
Watch it be the Jags do something completely off the wall and do
I
something.
mean,
I think
crazy.
it's Hunter. It's going to be Hunter.
You think so?
I'd be shocked if it wasn't, but maybe. Oh,
Yeah, they're gonna tease us along a little bit here.
yes.
We already waited 10 minutes.
Don't make us wait any longer. This is dumb. Chris says, "Please, Carter, please."
I mean, in a perfect world, it's Genty, so it takes it off the board for the Broncos.
Right. there you go.
Yes, right.
Nah, I
I
don't,
don't,
think
I don't
Jim's
even want
going
the
to
rumor
the
anymore that
Jags.
we're trading up.
There was some. I was listening to Colin Cowherd today, and he basically said that one executive thinks Ashton Genty is the best player on the in the draft, regardless.
Oh,
of
yeah.
position.
I know Cecil Lammy's been talking. He just thinks he's like LT.
Yeah.
Well-
He thinks he's that special.
That's right.
He also thinks Gronk's making a comeback. So
That.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cecil. If you're watching, I'm sorry.
People still.
He's a little
holding
busy tonight.
him, but, Paxton Lynch is still hung over his head.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It's got a little Marcus Mariota in him. I was like, "What? That's a good thing? That's
That's
terrible."
never a good comparison.
Yeah. I love Cecil. He's usually pretty accurate though. But that one was a little rough.
I think it's a. Oh, here we go. With bated breath.
It's going to be something crazy, isn't it?
He's gonna. Oh, you're still waiting. I won't say it then.
Okay, they got Travis.
So say it.
I mean,
Travis.
Yeah.
okay.
Is he gonna play both offense and defense?
That's the thing.
For the Jags, of all the teams that he would, the Jags would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jags would
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
He's going to the right. He's going to the right place. They will let him.
Yeah.
Do that.
To me,
I mean-
I don't know. I think he's messing with his. I think within the pros, you almost got to just. I know he is generational, but you got to really say, okay, I'm going to be a receiver, and he'd be a great receiver, or I'm really going to be a cornerback, and that's what you're going to do. And maybe they throw some special plays where you can be a receiver, but I don't know. I don't
do that.
see him playing, all kinds of 80% of the game because he's two-way. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
His
Agreed.
transcendent talent is that he can play both ways, but if you at cornerback, he gets by being a crazy athlete. I think he's a better wideout than a quarterback, honestly.
I think maybe, yeah, I think so.
So the way that I saw it be explained is, I think my favorite is, like, you draft him as a wide receiver, and then if you're out there, and I think it was actually Coach Sanders that said it, like, if you're out there and your corners are just getting absolutely demolished in that game, you have a guy on the sideline you can put out. Like, you actually have an opportunity to send somebody out there. You know what I mean? Like, you draft him as a wide receiver, and then if you need a mix-up on the defense, throw him out there. But honestly, I think there's less talent at corner than there is at wide receiver. You make him like a wide receiver 3-4 and a starting corner.
Yeah.
Out of all the potential teams that he could have gone to in the top, 5, he went to the best one. You got Trevor Lawrence going to throw you the football. Like, if he wants to make his mark as a wide receiver, he's got the guy to absolutely do it. Because as a matter of fact, I was trying to sit here and think, who in the heck is even the quarterback for the Giants?
Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston at this point?
Okay, so it's Russell and then
Sanders,
Cleveland Brown. Yeah, dude. And then the Cleveland Browns is what, Kenny Pickett right now?
Either that or Flacco.
I think Flacco re-signed with like the Colts.
Is he still in his prime?
Oh no, he's in. I think. Hold on. Let's go to the Google machine.
I'm just saying, like, you got to look at these teams in the top 5, and friggin' Trevor Lawrence is not even, maybe even the top 10. Let's even potentially look at the top 10. Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback to throw you the football.
Yeah.
No,
Look, guys. Fun stuff. What I mean, big thing for the Jaguars there, though. I mean, do you think this pick really elevates them to the next level?
No.
I mean, it seems like they still have so many holes to fill that. Like, this will be nice, but I just don't see Travis Hunter being like this next year's best, rookie wide receiver or anything.
Look, they've only been rebuilding for 15 years.
Yeah, kind of like the Browns. Yeah.
Takes time.
Since Mark Brunell was the quarterback.
Okay, maybe it has been 28 years.
MJD, baby. Maurice Jones-Drew, Mark Brunell, Jimmy Johnson.
Dude, they've had some incredible people. They've just screwed those people's careers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they always do it. They do like 1 or 2 years where they're like really good, and you're like, oh man, they're going to be good, and then just take the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what was it 1 year? They start off at like 10-2 or something 1 year, and they made the playoffs. And then the next year they were in like the top of the draft. It was like the weirdest thing.
That's when you have Blake Bortles as your quarterback. That's what happened.
Yeah, I thought that Trevor Lawrence was going to push him over the top, but I still have never believed that Trevor Lawrence football is like he eats, breathes, and that's his passion. With Joe Burrow, when Joe Burrow came out, I knew he was going to be a star. That guy just had it. And Trevor Lawrence, he has the potential to have it. I just have never seen that desire that a lot of these guys, he just kind of plateaued. He was okay. He took him to the playoffs one. But I don't know.
Well, it's hard. Like, everybody wants to look like, if you look at all the other positions on the NFL football fields, you can take an athlete and turn him into a smart athlete. Quarterback is hard to do that. Like, when you watch Joe Burrow at LSU in that championship game and even the games before that, like, he could see the field. Like, he was finding wide open guys downfield. You could just see it. And then you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who has the peak athleticism for a quarterback. He can throw that ball so far. He can get it into tight spaces real tight. He just doesn't see the field the way that some of these other guys do. And you want to be able to say, I mean, look at the Broncos. We tried it, right? We tried it with Paxton Lynch. We tried it. And if you were over 6'5", Elway was drafting you. Like, we
Josh Allen.
Yeah, except unless you're Josh Allen. Yeah, but so you have this athlete, you're like, oh man, they have this peak athleticism. We can teach him the game. We can teach him with the schemes. And it's hard. You have a guy like Joe Burrow and even Andrew Luck coming out. Like, it was the same way when I remember the Suck for Luck campaign. Like, everybody was trying to get that top draft pick because he was just so smart. He could see the field so well. And again, like, honestly, one of my hesitations with Bo Nix at the beginning of the year was like, is he one of those guys? But I'm happy where we are. I'm super happy where we are because he is a smart dude.
Well, it looks like Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State, going off over to
eye out there, bro. Just all black, gold, silver ass chain, dude.
I wonder what that means for Kayvon Thibodeau, because I know he actually asked to be put on the block. So,
I mean,
did he?
I mean, if I was playing for the Giants, I would. If I was Abdul Carter, I'd ask to be put on the block.
Throw me in there for a trade later on.
Hold on,
trade me.
Eli Manning.
Did you notice the contrast between the Giants draft team and what Jacksonville? They were just jumping around, and the Giants all stood up in unison. They're trying to show solidarity, mainly because they screw everything up.
Yeah, exactly.
Why does
31st in the league in points per game last year? Like, yeah.
Why does the green room look like a living spaces?
It's because some of them are going to be there for a while. They're just going to
it is Green Bay.
Okay.
Look, it's Green Bay.
It's
Why probably had Aunt Martha come and set it up.
it's a very dystopian thing. Like everybody's sitting in like couches back there. Everybody else is in a parking lot just cheering for them outside. That's
That's Green Bay.
Surprise, Green Bay didn't have a
Hunger
spot.
Games style.
Yeah, we've come a long way where the NFL draft was in a DoubleTree conference room, and everybody had tables that they had to sit at.
right.
Right.
Hey, while we wait for this next round to get going, I do want to say a quick thank you and shout out to our marketing guy behind the scenes, Gary, who does a ton of work and posts for us. So thank you very much, Gary. Big shout out to you and everything you do for us. I also want to thank Jared for providing the food for us tonight. I'm still waiting on mine, but it looks delicious.
In the mail.
So
In the mail.
it's
tonight, so you'll get it in like
that's
a couple days.
I've got Anchor
Is that
Bar
on
coming.
diet?
I told you to bring orange slices, man. Come on, like
Oops.
You know, my Anchor Bar wings might show up about the time that the Bills pick.
yeah, yes,
quick.
you got some time.
The picks are
Oh,
going
I
quick.
tell you what, man. No, you know, that was how we have an Anchor Bar here in Loveland is amazing. And they
Yeah.
are delicious. So,
I've heard good things about them.
you know, my wife is happy because it's a little piece of her hometown. So,
There you go. Love it. Let's see. So what we got? Patriots on the clock next. What are we thinking, boys?
I'm thinking they're gonna do the smart thing and they're gonna take Will Howard.
Yeah. They're going to take an offensive guy, I think. Line.
With Vrabel there, I mean, I could see that. He's a gritty defensive style coach, but he wants to run the football. So
Chris,
Ah.
Chris said he was going to have to throw his phone if Carter wasn't selected, so now he doesn't have to throw his phone. And I believe you too, Chris. I think you actually would have thrown your phone had that happened, so or not happened. So I'm glad you don't have to go out and buy a new one. Let's see, offensive line LSU. Yeah, what you guys are saying. Now with Vrabel in charge there, what are you guys expecting from the Patriots? Continue improvements.
What they were doing down in Tennessee. It's going to be. He's going to bring a toughness to that team, and I think it's going to be a lot more defensive than it is going to be offense. They are going to focus on that. Getting back to their roots, I think, but who knows what Drake May's going to be like this year.
Yeah,
that's it. Like, how much do you believe in him? And what do you if you do want to be able to run the ball and pound it, then yeah, he's going to be suitable. But you can't run like a spread offense with him right now.
No,
I don't know. I think Drake May's pretty good. He's probably the better quarterback option than they've had in a little while. I mean, he's no man or anything like that. But I as much as I understand having an offensive line player for the Patriots, they're also lacking in any type of explosive talent at running back, wide receiver, tight end. Like this, so this pick could be damn near everything. I think it's easiest to go with offensive line because you need to protect your quarterback of the future. But you know what? I guess if there's generational talent there, maybe it's an idea for you.
Yeah,
it depends on your philosophy.
Hurricane Josh back there.
I mean,
I see him getting some offensive players. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. It's basically like, do you want to protect? Do you want to give your quarterback, which is still kind of an unknown at this point? Do you put something behind him to hopefully get what you think you're going to get out of him, or do you surround him with weapons? It depends on your flavor at that point. The Patriots and that system tends to kind of value building from the inside out. So I think it'll be the tackle.
Makes sense. Now the pick is in, guys, so we will find out shortly, depending on how long they take to make us wait for it.
It's commercial.
Well, we're at commercial, so
yeah.
Well, wide receiver, they got Stephon Diggs. And that's it.
Yeah, that is true. They did sign Stephon Diggs.
Forgot about that.
And then that's it. Matt Collins, Demario Douglas. Yeah.
Well, they did draft a couple guys last year too, that I know that they really liked. So
Well, I just think I'm well. I don't want to say I'm excited. I'm recognizing that Vrabel is going to bring a toughness to that Patriots team. And you know, look, with Drake May, all I know is looking back to when we had Drew Lock. He looked good the last couple games of the season. We all got excited, and that did not pan out in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, what kind of sophomore hangover is Drake May going to have, if any? You know, and that's really going to impact the whole organization, obviously.
Let's not talk about sophomore hangovers at all. Let's just avoid saying that.
Oh, Bo Nix is in a different class entirely. That does not apply to him. I'm just saying.
Drake May and Bo Nix,
I can feel the stink eye from California to Colorado.
Why would you say it? Like, why? Like, just
Why would you say
just leave it alone. Like,
this is the guy with the Trevor Siemian jersey, Jared. Just let him.
That's true.
Do what he wants.
Let me have my thing. It's still hanging up. Yeah, you're gonna bring that up. Scott doesn't even have a Trevor Siemian jersey. I am alone.
I do have a Trevor Siemian bobblehead though somewhere.
Oh.
So I did buy a Trevor Siemian bobblehead. I don't know that I display it amongst actual real Bronco paraphernalia.
We all have one, guys. We all have
I
one.
have that.
Okay,
Yes.
we're looking at Will Campbell from LSU. There he goes.
Full time. Look at that.
All right.
Shoot, though.
And now it gets interesting.
Like money. Now what do the Browns
Now
do?
it gets interesting.
Do you think they go with Shedeur and get a quarterback?
If they do it at 5, that's why they're the Browns. Like,
how much do they still owe, old boy?
A lot.
They don't have a quarterback though. I mean, they really don't.
I understand that, but Shedeur Sanders is not a first-round quarterback. You don't take a first-round quarterback at 5. You don't do that
Unless you're the Browns.
Man, you are a hater, huh? You're a
We're talking about the
hater.
Browns here.
I mean, if you're the Browns, you do silly things because you're the Browns, and if they wanted
Manziel, they let Baker Mayfield go and decided to go with Deshaun Watson, who had a better season. Like the Browns they're perennially shooting themselves in the foot.
I'm not saying that the Browns do smart things. I'm just saying if I were the Browns, I am not a Shedeur Sanders guy by any stretch.
I mean, I think we should talk about Shedeur like 15 on.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. At least
that poor boy has fallen. I think in the right situation, he would be a good quarterback. I think his priorities are a little whack.
I think there's the bigger question now is that he's had his entire developmental time under his dad. So where he's been pretty much his own de facto offensive coordinator for 4 years. So now he has to go to a system and fit in a system. I think there's a lot of question marks about him. And from everything I read about his draft interviews and all that, none of that came back as something that gives me ease about what he'll be as a pro. But I have been wrong before. I will be wrong again at some point. Maybe, probably not, but it does happen from time to time.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we are waiting for the next pick to come in, first off, Chris, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has a Trevor Siemian jersey. But I do want to announce that we do have our VIP has joined us. Brad Smith. Big fan Mr. Smith, it is always good to see you pop up on the show with the Jerry Judy hate.
Who had the
seriously? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Glad to see you.
in the first 5 rounds, in the first 5 picks, that Brad make a Jerry Judy comment.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Who had the
Love it.
under on that? Who had the under on that?
Oh man, no, you're not gonna. You can't duplicate this face for a bobblehead. It's just, it's too good looking.
Timeless.
As
Great
Jared said
imitation.
earlier, nobody wants to see us in 4K. So
Yeah, we debated a while, and then we looked in the mirror.
The world's not ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, with the pick from Cleveland is now in.
Oh.
While we wait on that, Jerry asked a question that, so far we haven't seen anything too dramatic other than the trade between Jacksonville and Cleveland, but nothing that I'm seeing that's going to impact the draft later on for the Broncos substantially anyway. Obviously, this one's going to be a big one if they get Shedeur Sanders or not, but any other kind of thoughts from you guys on how, we're looking on the Broncos side of things?
First four picks are pretty much lined up how everybody's. I mean, other than the trade, but that just the teams just shuffled in order, not the players. So right now, anything is still up in the air.
Gotcha.
I think it's actually just the way that it's currently working out is the best situation for the Broncos, right? I think with the idea that these quarterbacks may continue to slide, there might be more people who are going to reach out to the Broncos in that 20 spot, or at least try to jump up above the Steelers at 21. So there'll be a lot of trade partners, I think, between 15 and 20 if we see some of these quarterbacks continue to slide, which then just favors the Broncos for getting maybe one of the top 2-3 guys on their draft board. I mean, Jared's the one who talks about it all the time, right? The Broncos have X amount of players that have a actual first round grade on them. And if teams are reaching for Shedeur Sanders, who Adam says is a later round pick, but that's a reach, meaning that other first round talent is going to fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we could get a run on quarterbacks, a run on them, that'd be great. Not there's a lot in this draft, but if you could get, Shedeur to go earlier and the other guy to go earlier that people are predicting, I think that'd be good.
Well, guys. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Guys.
They made it happen, didn't they?
Hey, I don't want to be right.
Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan.
That's actually a smart pick.
Bad pick.
Is it though? There's a lot of faults on their team, man, and I don't know if a D tackle is going to be the guy that sets you in the right direction.
No, not
inside out, and he's the best.
Yeah, ask Myles Garrett.
Yes.
That is I don't know.
Well, hey guys, before we continue the conversation, I am going to go ahead and announce this is a prize round.
Prize round.
Here we go. On the clock, the Raiders are up, and let's go through the rules. So we're going to talk about what the Raiders are going to do, what we think that they're going to do. And as soon as we see that the pick is in, I'm going to let you all know that you have 1 minute to type in one player name who you think the Raiders are going to draft. Whoever answers correctly once we find out who was drafted is going to get a Broncos hat of your choice. So pay attention. We're going to kind of talk about it a bit. And I'll start it off. Obviously, a lot of talk was, are the Broncos going to move up to the first couple picks to try and get Genty? Because this, I think, was the first real team people were looking at Genty possibly going to. So take it away, boys. What do you think?
I think they're going to go with Genty.
I think the pick has to be Genty, just from what we know about Pete Carroll, what we know about Geno Smith, and he is probably one of the 32 quarterbacks that really needs a running game to really bring out the best in what he does. So I think this is an Ashton Genty pick for me.
There's
and I picked this one for a reason, because we all figured it was easy. So I want to make sure the rules made sense. So
it's again, it could be Raiders though. So I think an outside pick for the Raiders is Ted McMillan. So the wide receiver from Arizona. He's a big body wide receiver. Currently the only thing that I'm not going to say the only thing, because Brock Bowers proved to be a very, very, very good talent. But outside
Yeah.
of Brock Myers, all they have is Jacoby Myers, who bounced around to a couple of teams. I don't see why this can't be the first instance of Ted McMillan. My guts tell me Ashton Genty, but the Raiders are also going to Raider.
That's
The Raiders
also
are going to
great.
Raider.
Look at their quarterback, though. I mean, and I know he's had a resurgence with the Seahawks, and but I don't know. I've never been big on him from the day he got drafted. But I mean, give the guy some props. You know, he did way better once he took that starting offense in Seattle, and he's worked his way into another team. So I don't know, but you know, I think Raiders going to Raider though. Who's the fastest guy on the?
I was going to say
Go for that.
Matthew Golden.
that
There
is
you go.
Matthew Golden.
That is Matthew Golden.
Man, what was the name of that last guy from Maryland that they drafted? It was super fast. Hayward Bay.
Oh,
Are you talking about? No, you're talking about the dude that got arrested for running people over in Vegas.
Oh yeah, that was Henry Ruggs too. Yikes.
Henry Ruggs.
That
Henry Ruggs was almost a Bronco. That's
Yeah, that's true.
So was CD Lamb.
oh yeah.
Okay,
Love
guys.
Patrick Queen, but we're not going to talk about it.
Pick is in. So
All
you now
right.
have 1 minute. Everybody,
All right,
everybody.
type in the
Who do you think
name.
it's gonna be?
1 minute. I'm going to check. You can't type in 10 different players and hope that you're right. Okay.
James already
so-
got Genty.
The next 50 seconds you have.
Genty.
I like Chris's pick.
Remember,
Jalen Walker. So that's what I'm going to say. Because the defense needs some help. And I think Jalen Walker could be that game changer on the defense.
Okay, so I got to be quicker because we have our announcement. It
James
is
got it.
Ashton Genty.
Gotta be.
James, Angelo, Derek. James put in there twice.
James, it looks like James was the first one. So, James, congratulations, man. You've won a Broncos cap of your choice, Broncos draft cap of your choice. Go ahead and message us on Facebook so I can get your contact information, your address, and everything, and ship one of these out to you. Okay, man. So make sure you hit us up on Facebook. We have 2 other prize rounds, guys. So stick around. Those are coming up shortly. But right now on the clock, we got the New York Jets, whose biggest need in the draft is an owner. Not sure if you can draft those, but might be something they could ask. Does it say in the rules that you can't draft an owner? Just saying.
Oh, yeah, you can't trade him. You can trade for a coach. Can't trade for an owner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big thing is, I'm sure they just want to know who the best Madden rating is. So that might be come into play when it comes to who they're picking.
God, I hope that
Right.
wasn't true.
Well, I think he'll probably ask one of the janitor's daughters who she thinks. They are so dysfunctional up there in New York. Who to choose from?
I really like Aaron Glenn, and obviously Darren Mugie is going to be an offshoot of our front office tree here. So I mean, if their owners could just stay out of the way, they would probably be a better team. But that therein lies the rub: is anytime it seems that they do get good, then the owner starts meddling and getting involved in doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing. So, and then the Jets end up being the Jets again.
Both New York teams.
Both
New York teams. And I think last year's what's the show that they do during the preseason? Last year's Hard Knocks also
Hard Knocks
showed,
in-season game.
Season. Yeah. Everybody noticed that no team wanted to do it this year because they didn't want the same situation when looking like idiots. So I don't know. And this is just a weird thing that I saw today. There's a chance that the Giants might try to trade back into the first round to go after a quarterback. So that's something to kind of pin now that Ashton Genty's off the board, which can I say I'm super happy about that because the Broncos are going to trade up. and give up whatever to get Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, very much so. But now he's a Raider, and now I automatically dislike everything about him. Ashton Jeanty is like the stupidest running back in the NFL. I'm just gonna say that. It's out there.
It's the Raiders.
Jared's like, I'm judging you.
Yeah, they're gonna screw it up somehow. So let me ask you guys a question. So obviously, I'm kind of thinking about one person I kind of want for the Broncos in the first round. Do we need to pick him up? Say Travion Henderson is our guy, right? Say he's our guy. Is that what's leading us to be like, let's trade back? Because I don't think he's going top 20. I think maybe he might go 32. I don't know if he goes first round. Is that one of those like, hey, if that's our guy, let's get some capital for it?
Well, I can't go with another Carolina back for sure. So, yeah, if Hampton's going to fall.
Yeah,
I know. If Hampton's going to fall, I just don't want to fall too much where suddenly he's gone too.
Yeah, I think he'll go before Travion, though. I do.
Yeah, I think so. That's what a lot of people are saying. But
Angelo,
with the devaluing of the position and the fact that Denver already goes to a running back by committee, do you really want to burn a first round tender on a guy that you can find something similar or
right
about the same a couple picks back? I mean, I go to the if Travion Henderson is your guy, then you take him at 20. Do I think most teams have him at 20? No. So I think he has more about, you get more ROI, and you set these people up for a better future if you pick them where they kind of are supposed to be. Honestly, what sets people up for to draft busts is taking them way higher than where they should have been. So,
yeah.
Jeanty will be in jail first week of practice.
Hey, I like Jeanty. Like, as much as we hate the Raiders, like, and now he's a Raider, I love all the negative talk, but like, he's a good dude. Like, he was an upstanding dude the entire time he was at Boise. Like, it's funny though.
Yes, I'll give you that. When he's not wearing a Raiders jersey, we can be friends. But otherwise, I can't do it, man. I can't do it, guys. Well, we're still waiting. The pick is in for the Jets. We're going to see what kind of screw up they're going to have. Probably the most interesting pick so far. I guess the Browns one was a little interesting just because we weren't sure exactly where they're going to go. But with the Jets, I mean, what are you guys thinking in a logical sense, which they're not probably going to do. But if you were a logical New York Jets GM, what are you guys thinking?
Offensive line would be a good place to go here.
Yeah.
They did a good job of bolstering the offensive line. I feel like the last year, I get that. They had a bunch of injuries on it. So starting quarterback is Justin Fields.
Yep.
Garrett Wilson. I mean, they're solid at running back. Garrett Wilson solid at the number one wide receiver. They could probably they could use more weapons, but again, like you mentioned earlier, Aaron Glenn is a defensive guy. So I would say offensive line, or we're looking at edge rusher.
Yeah.
So now, illogically, what do you think the Jets could do?
Tight end.
Jackson Dart.
This is where Ty Warren's going to go.
Honestly, Spotty, I would not be surprised if Ty
Warren, right? Yeah.
If Ty Warren is the pick here.
You got a quarterback who can't hit the broadside of a barn. Why not get the best pass catcher you have?
That can literally play anywhere on the offense.
Yeah.
So.
While we wait for the announcements, I do want to give a shout out to Josh Aragon. Thanks for tuning in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Unfortunately, Josh, you don't have the record for furthest distance from Colorado. We're watching the show tonight. Unfortunately, I think that record is Jordan, actually. So I do appreciate you tuning in, though, man. Thank you for watching. Everybody else that's tuning in, thank you for watching as well. We're going to keep this show rolling all the way up to the Broncos' first pick. Hopefully they don't trade out of the first round there, because otherwise I'm going to be live at like 4 a.m. and these other guys don't love me enough to stay at.
I will not be live at 4 a.m.
Make sure to add it to OnlyFans, man. Somebody wants to watch you sleep.
Yeah, we got this.
No, we found that when it comes to the OnlyFans, people only want Jared's content for some reason. They don't really buy mine. I don't know.
He's showing more skin.
I get more racy.
He goes, let me fix the shirt a little bit. That's it.
Have you
All
guys
right,
seen
guys.
my beach ball? It's about that big around.
Is Angelo ahead of us in a different time space or something? Because,
Well, I'm also getting updates quicker on the ESPN website, but yeah, it looks like Armand Membo, offensive tackle from
We're
Missouri,
gonna
going
have to
7th
block-
overall in the draft.
block Angelo's comments until we can see the draft, until see the pick coming in.
Angelo, you got to give us a minute or so. Let's just catch up to you, buddy.
Membo was one of the workout warriors of the combine. He is a physical freak from everything that I've read. He was one of the combine standouts. This pushed him from probably a mid-second rounder to obviously number 7.
Yeah, I saw he's actually most have him rated as the top tackle in this over the Will Campbell who went
right.
to Patriots. So
Right.
because he has long arms. Apparently, you can't have short arms as an offensive lineman.
Well, famously, John Elway did not like short arms on his linemen.
I mean, famously, Bill Belichick liked big butts and certain diameter of thighs. Like there's something in here. How many chickens?
Certain age. Oh, sorry. I was thinking about something else.
He's like, I like him 24. I don't know why.
I like him 20. I don't know what it is about that age. It just seems right.
Angelo, that's not how this works, man. I'm going to disqualify you. You can't do that. I like the train of thought, though. I need to add, small print, to the rules I come up for these giveaways. So you're teaching me. But yes, on the clock we have.
What we don't know is he's live at the draft.
Yeah.
He's live at the draft,
Exactly.
Kev, you may have to say, okay, go a pick. If it's the 10th pick on the board,
we might have to
then
do a
make
pick
it
early.
the 12th pick. Give it a little buffer. And then if they guess wrong because the 11th pick
we'll just keep rolling it down until we get a winner.
Yeah, might just be able to give more of a buffer.
Yeah, what kind of speed internet you got, Angelo? Damn.
I know. We only got
Angelo, you did follow the rules. I didn't have any, small type in there, so can't fault you for that. You're just teaching me as I start creating more of these giveaways because, guys, it is our 10th anniversary this year, and there are going to be a whole hell of a lot of giveaways coming up throughout the season. Starting with, I did officially announce that if/when, knock on wood, the Broncos hit 10 wins, we are giving away 3 Bo Nix number 10 jerseys. So get ready for the Broncos to hit 10 wins on the season, guys. We're going to be giving away some jerseys for that. So
not my jersey. This is mine. This one stays on.
I was going to offer your personal one up first, Adam.
Yeah, off the back.
Fine, I guess
would I be wrong? Would I be wrong to predict that happening in week 8? I'm not really good with math.
I'm not really good with math.
Bo Nix is good.
We hit 10 wins on week 8. Oh man!
Sounds like
I mean, it's not impossible.
Yes, it is, Kevin. Yes, it's very clearly impossible.
That worries me more that you think that might be possible.
I need you to bust out the abacus, Jared. Okay, count it out for us.
My goodness.
I don't have it. Oh man, Denver Public Schools.
Whoa,
did anybody watch Membo's reaction to getting drafted by the Jets? By the way, so I'm way behind. So they go live to his family. His family's all his smile said he's happy. His eyes said he's dead inside already. he just sat there and stared like. Everybody else was like kind of laughing around him. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go there either for so many reasons.
Just a quick Google search. Who's the quarterback for the? Oh no!
Oh no!
There was one professional sports team that did not make it to the playoffs during the time of this last Pope's, time in Pope and C, whatever it's called, and that was the New York Jets. That was it. Every other major sports team made in the playoffs at least once during his tenure. So we'll see. But either way, the pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. We will wait and see.
Rest in power, King.
Okay, let you guys take this one over for a bit.
Snackies.
All right.
I'll head out, but I'll be back in a few. Keep it going, guys.
All right, what are we thinking here, guys?
So somebody thinks it's going to be the first wide receiver off the board. I don't know. I can see the Panthers. Who's the Panthers tight end right now? I can see them going Ty Warren.
I was thinking
I
the
Ty
same
Warren
thing at
there.
this point, Jared. Yeah, I think
Yes.
Ty Warren would make a lot of sense here. But what Spotty was saying earlier with Tet McMillan, I think they need. I mean, Bryce Young kind of started to come around towards the end of the year, so I think at this point you got to start putting some weapons around him.
Yeah, but if you're talking about the best overall pass catcher, I think Ty Warren's your guy. And then now, if you want outside deep depth, Chet, I'm trying to see who's their wide receivers. So they got Chuba Hubbard at running back. They got Adam Thielen, and that's it.
They drafted a tight end last year, Sanders from the University of Texas.
They did draft the
and
guy
they actually like him.
Tavion Sanders.
Yeah.
Jatavian Sanders. He's from Texas, and
Right, 4th round pick.
actually a pretty good prospect. So it
He
might
came on
not
at
be.
the end of the year. I could
It
see
might
this
not
being defense. Their defense was so freaking bad, bro.
Walker.
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah. Walker
Jalen Walker's there. Will Johnson is there. Will Johnson's one of my favorite players in the draft. So if they were to take Will Johnson, pair him with J.C. Horn, I mean, your secondary is pretty much set at that point.
There's some issue with Will Johnson. I think he's going to fall, and that's because he didn't run the 40 at his pro day, and they're saying that he might be hurt.
Yeah, I've been hearing that's causing him to slide, very much so. But let us see what we got. My nephew is goes to Arizona, so he's a big Tet McMillan fan. I like Tet McMillan too. Oh, he reminds me a lot of Cortland. Reminds me a little bit of Cortland Sutton a little bit as far as his game.
There you go.
Oh,
Tet
McMillan going number 8.
Uh-oh, I'm ahead.
Oh, my bad.
I'm definitely ahead.
We finally have someone on time.
So is this? I would think that this is another really good pick for the Broncos because this is a guy that really pushes some other guys down for us. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what the Saints do, because Derek Carr may miss next year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Derek Carr may miss the 2025 season, and they were hoping to know if he would be healthy or not by the time the draft started. They said it wouldn't affect their draft, but I call bullshit on that.
It totally has to. This is the pick right here, and I think if it's not Shedeur Sanders here, you will start to see some activity.
Movement.
Yeah.
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the next on the list to get a quarterback. I think Pittsburgh's the next one there, and that's why people are going to try to trade up for us to get in front of it.
Really?
Unless someone really like Jackson Dart.
Well, so the teams that are quote unquote quarterback needy, like right off the top of our brains, the Giants,
the
Cleveland, the Giants. Who else we think are going to be quick?
Vegas.
The Steelers, because they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers for some freaking reason. Is that not insane? What, we waiting on Aaron Rodgers?
If it were 4 years ago, maybe I could see that. Not today, but
let's see. The Bears are set. The 49ers are set. Cowboys are, well, I mean, it depends on which way you want to go there.
49ers really set? Are they?
Jerry could do any number of things. So I don't think so though.
I think it's the Giants. I think it's the Browns, and then I think it's the Steelers. I think unless the Los Angeles Rams want to prepare themselves for a Staffordless offense. This could be really big, because if Shedeur goes past this pick, because the outside of the Saints, there might be teams that are going to call the Broncos about getting either Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, getting ahead of Pittsburgh.
Right.
What do you think, Rich? Maybe nothing.
Nothing. Did he mute us again?
Maybe. Have we muted? I don't think so. I'm talking.
Yeah, we
I can hear you guys. Yeah. Yeah, he has us muted.
Oh, we were talking to you, Rich. What are you doing, man? Anyway,
What, me?
yeah.
Yes.
Rich. I'm not rich.
My man.
My bad. I'm sorry.
I was wondering
I
who
was-
Rich was. I thought you were talking to somebody else.
I was talking to you.
Well, you're gonna have
So-
to repeat the question.
All right. Well, we're just talking about Ted McMillan. Basically, like, do you think this is a good thing for the Broncos that they're pushing some players down, or maybe
I
it was
like
like
the fact that the running backs are continually to drop, and the tight ends. I don't think tight end is totally out of the question, And if Loveland's there, then maybe you're going
Man.
for another tight end.
I think we're going to have
I
our
mean,
choice. Pick of the litter.
Yeah,
We
I think
draft Apple and our
we're trying- the thing is, I don't know that we could have a bad draft pick, even at 20. We have
don't
just
say that.
well, I just think you're looking for the best available person at this point, and I hate that. But I like that much better than, oh my God, we need to have this person. That's how we ended up with Jerry Jeudy. And
Yeah.
you know how I feel about
Brad,
Jerry Jeudy.
So much Judy hate.
Yeah,
It's a great pick.
very much
Great
so.
pick. So here's what I like. Here's what I like, and I was going to say it before my mic wasn't working when I first came on. I like the fact that the Broncos aren't in the guy that we get here is going to change our culture around.
Yes.
It's gonna change the outlook of what the Broncos are going to do this year. We don't need that guy right now. We need someone who's going to come in and fit into someone who's on the leading edge of changing the Denver Bronco, playoffs and the dynasty that is going to be the next few years, the Denver Broncos. We don't need a guy that's like, we need this guy and everything will be great again, like we have in the past. And so that's nice. So again, having our pick of the litter here is just going to be which guy is going to come in here and make a difference in his aspect, not for the whole team, but at that position.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Am I ahead of everybody?
we
Should
are.
I keep this to myself?
You have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna know the selection.
Oh yeah, I know who it is. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Here's where it could get spicy.
That's Adam. I think we're doing the same thing right now. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the Bronco. I'm like, okay. So now I'm gonna give this. Now that I've seen mostly the top 10, I think a good chance Ty Warren goes to Chicago. Right here. But what I
Wow.
I think Chicago takes Amari Hampton.
I see, but here's the thing: they still got DeAndre Swift. It's not like he had a terrible season last year.
Yeah.
I think if they get
gotta go
if
get a
there's a
power
competent offensive coordinator there, then you make use of all the weapons that they got to put around Caleb Williams in the first place. So
This is what I foresee. So they got the offensive line. Okay, I know Ty Warren seems like whatever. Cole Kmet still had a really good season for them last year.
yeah.
Like 100%, there's most likely is their defense that's going to need to see thing. Like I think a lot of people had Ty Warren to them or the Colts or to the Chargers, right? And which are after us. So I don't think that would ever happen. So with the way that things are currently going, I see there's going to be like this like a in the world of Spotsville. I think we're going to end up going with a kind of a Jared pick, and that's defensive lineman Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. And I see us trading back a couple of picks to do it because there's going to be so much blue chip talent, and then we're going to get the best guy, and then we're going to have another extra like day 2 pick for a running back like 𝐋𝐄𝐓'𝐒 𝐃𝐎 or kind of like Leggy said, even later in the draft, Sampson from Tennessee.
Let's bring up David and his expertise and awesomeness when it comes to the draft. Look, the compliment I gave him a little corner of the lip smile. Did you see that? I got him to emote.
We need
Just a
somebody
little
to say big words. That's why David is here.
David, how
Okay,
you doing?
before David talks, because I like interrupting before he goes. I do want to. For this pick, I think Jalen Walker might be the way to go.
I can see
Right,
that.
take an edge rusher, build up the defense. Me and you are on the same page, Spotty. I think that they need to build up their defense in order to protect. Or they pick an offensive lineman and try to protect him a little more because he was hit a lot over the season. But I think most of the top ones are gone. Jalen Walker's my pick. All right, David, your turn.
My turn.
Or not.
Bears pick. Is that what we're talking? Sorry.
Yeah.
I just caught up.
We want to hear you talk. We want to hear the big words come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I even took the time to give you time to think about what you would say. Like, he put you on the spot. I was like, you know what? Let's give him some time. I was being nice. Give him some time to think of some things. You didn't do it.
You guys miscalculated the amount of internet lag that I've got going on right now. I think that's the problem that's going around the stream.
You could not have planned that better
right now.
I might. I'm gonna say we just needed to get him to reset his stuff. Like, he just bounced out.
No.
Oh
He's
man,
doing a really good job making sure that if we leave our seats, he's like, "At you, you are voted off the island."
you are voted off the island.
I can see defense. I think I don't know. Maybe because Ben Johnson is now the head coach for the Bears.
Yeah. Who is the Bears head coach now?
And I think that's why everybody thought that they were going to go with the running back. I think Hampton is a kind of a stretch, if you will. I get it. They did draft Jahmyr Gibbs early. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs was a top 8 pick.
Yeah, he was a top pick, and then they traded him for Swift.
But if Hampton does go, I still don't think that necessarily affects our draft strategy.
I don't think the Broncos are looking as heavily at Hampton as I think some of the analysts say we are. I think we're looking heavier at Travion Henderson.
Yeah, I think they just. But Henderson he's picked up some steam for some teams. So I'm not necessarily saying I think he at 32 might be like a good spot where Henderson might end up going. But I also don't think he's much. The only issue with Henderson is his health.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's why if I'm thinking that if I'm the Broncos and you have like your board and you know who's going to fall and who's not, I just don't know. I think if we have Travion Henderson as our guy, like if he falls to us, what do we do? I think we trade back.
No.
Now, what can we get for him? Right? If someone's trying to jump ahead of the Steelers and we can get, let's say we get another second round, 2 second round picks, right? Is probably what we get there. Maybe their first round pick and another second round pick.
Looking for one.
Yeah, but we'll get their pick, right? Their first round pick, so we'll trade back, and then we'll get a second round pick additional.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think there's any players out there that we're really trying to like fight for, right? Like there's no free agent or a guy that's on someone's team that we're like, hey, we need this guy.
No.
I think we kind of filled all those holes.
Yeah. We did a lot of work during this offseason, and we did it through or without making a ton of moves and without paying a ton of money, right? So that was the good thing about we did, where we're sitting in this position where it's great to sit back and just let the board fall to us. Like Ashton Jeanty gets taken, I'm like, okay, that's not a problem. You know, any of these guys get taken, it's like, okay, it's not a problem. We got Bo Nix, we got Pat Surtain. I think we're okay. Yeah. David, how's the lag? Any better, buddy? It looks like he's frozen, which is a beautiful picture of him.
Either that or he's just mean mugging the rest of us.
Oh my Jesus.
Here it is. It's coming in.
All right.
I was running out of power, and I had to find an extension cord.
More
and then
power.
I realized I had
Before Ty Warren?
Over
Ty
I
Warren?
had to get the
There's
you're
no
good. You're
chance.
good,
No chance that Ty falls past the Colts. No chance.
Nope.
How do you pick Loveland before Warren?
I have a feeling I know why. I think it's
What would
because
you think?
of his run blocking is better than Ty Warren's.
Right.
It depends on the flavor of tight end that you're looking for. Ty Warren is a more receiving joker type of tight end. Colston Loveland was called by some as the best pure tight end in the draft, a la like a Jason Witten type.
Well, then I would have taken Cole
I don't
Loveland
agree
because
with this pick.
we have Evan Ingram. Like, yeah, I don't think Ty Warren even if he does fall to us, I don't think we take him because we have Evan Ingram as that overall best wide receiver tight end. He's not really a tight end. Let's just name him a wide receiver.
To your point, Jared, I would have thought like a Colston Loveland would have made a lot more sense than a Ty Warren for us anyway. So
yeah. Wow,
the 49ers jumped, huh?
The
49ers, they knew who they wanted then.
Yeah.
Wait, did they trade up?
No, they were just that bad.
They just pulled the trigger quick.
Oh, they're already on the. Oh,
yeah.
Good. They should do that quick.
They should be.
Like, do you really not know who you want at this point?
It's like when you go to a fantasy football draft and there's a guy that takes the full 2 minutes. And it's like, come on, bro. Like
you thought he was going to pick anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm sorry, Kuiper, that I ruined your board. Can you can you just jump on that pick and so we can get out so we can hurry up and go home? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad pick, but also I feel like the Bears have Cole Kmet, bro. Like,
right, but isn't that kind of a similar type of Colston Loveland type of player anyway? Like, wouldn't you want to get a
That's what we're saying is like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, not exactly. Yeah.
Chris, what the fuck?
Hey, look, never bet on the Bears.
Yeah,
I know.
As the husband of a long-suffering Bears fan, yeah, I don't know how she'll feel about that. I don't know how the wifey will feel about that pick.
Man, I'm trying to think who the 49ers would pick. Like,
they could go.
How has Jalen Walker not gone off the board yet?
Exactly. I would think that this would be a perfect pick.
You know what? I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
Getting a stud linebacker. Yeah.
Oh God, if they could pair somebody inside with Dre Greenlaw, oh my
gosh.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it gets
our defense would be. Yeah.
Look, our offense doesn't have to score many points if the defense holds them to 0.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we won. Didn't we win a Super Bowl title with that type of formula?
Yeah.
And he's a great coverage linebacker too. That's the other thing that we've been missing for so long. That like to cover some of these tight ends that we have in our division. Like maybe I'm not getting my hopes up. All right, we still got a few picks, but geez, that would be awesome.
There's another one too, Jihad Campbell, who
exactly
Alabama. Yep. He's another guy who could do it too. So I mean, that's the inside linebacker pick for Jared. Like that's the classic.
Yeah, I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
Yeah, just make you warm and fuzzy by talking about linebacker.
It does. It does. Can we keep talking about it for a little bit?
Look, he's cheesing. The corners of his mouth.
We've been doing this show for 10 years. I've wanted an inside linebacker pretty much every single year that we've done this show, and I've never got it. I remember the big one with Patrick Queen, and I don't remember what draft year that was and who we got. But I was like, I want Patrick Queen so bad, and I was driving it home. I forget who we picked up, and I was so mad at the end. I just remember being so mad at the end of that draft. And look at him; he's doing great things, but inside linebacker, that'd be great.
It's been a
while.
while.
Guys, do we think third? Do you think third time's going to be a charm?
For David, I don't know. Let's see.
David.
Now we can't hear you.
I wish you hadn't asked. I really do. I really do wish you hadn't asked. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still lagging a little bit, fellas. It may take me a minute to catch up here. So, but how's everybody doing tonight? How are we feeling? It sounds like, Kevin, you're so far not feeling bad about anything that's happened.
No. And I don't think we should be, like other than me now having to dislike Ashton Genty, like that's the only thing that's really happened so far, so.
David, you missed the great conversation. I want to clue you in on this. We're talking about getting an inside linebacker for our first round pick for the Denver Broncos. How do you feel about that?
Wow, for inside linebacker first. Again, I appreciate you guys throwing it to me right off the bat here when my internet is real spotty. But let's go with. I don't hate it, Jared. I don't hate it.
Bad time to lag. Bad time to lag.
Well, Kev is down, and but John,
we got lots of people on board.
I love when
John's out, so John can jump in.
What's up?
Was cool. Like, all right, John, give us the nitty gritty. What do you feel about the first 10 picks?
There we go.
Fucking Bears.
Hold on? Did you jump on just to give shit about Bears taking Loveland?
I don't hate the pick, except that the best tight end was available, right?
My God.
John woke up and chose violence.
He was watching this on his couch and was like, I got to talk about this.
Who got pissed off? I really have no idea who got pissed off.
Oh, nobody.
Wow.
Nobody. It's great.
Except for
Tell
Bears.
us how you really feel.
I already texted my Bears friends, and they are not happy with this selection. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm actually talking to the wifey about it now and seeing if we can get a reaction.
Man, we're almost there. Let's see.
Jags moving up to 2. That cost me some money.
That was strange. That was strange. But and for the players to shake out the same way too.
Yeah.
It's funny, San Francisco, I thought they called it in quick, but they are taking their time on this pick.
No doubt. This is ESPN.
Find out here.
This is the NFL. Let's
Yeah,
drag it out,
pick is real quick. I'm curious what the 49ers are going to do.
All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting pick.
Defense, my guess is defense right off the bat.
Yeah, that's where I'm
safety.
They lost so
Dallas
many
inside
players
linebacker.
on defense.
Malik Starks for safety. They lost some players. Jalen Walker.
I really like him. I really like Starks from Georgia.
I'm going to go take a break. I'll be back in a minute, guys.
There's
Boys.
David.
Yeah, this is the worst day of my life, fellas. And it's really only because I don't know what the hell's going on with my computer. I will answer Jared's question and then I will toss it to you, fellas. Inside linebacker, I really don't hate it, right? Like, I don't hate any of our choices at this point, considering who's going to be left on the board. Colston Loveland goes to the Bears. That's an interesting pick. John, you have some thoughts about that, and we'll toss that right to you. But inside linebacker, I feel like, if Jihad Campbell is there, I can't really get mad at any of the picks right now because I just trust this coaching staff to take whoever they get and turn them into a player.
Yeah, this is unusual. It's the last 3 years. They've just been on top of who they're drafting, and it's refreshing compared to what it was the first 5 years previous, where you were picking up players and you're like, what the hell are you doing? So I have a lot of confidence in both the Paytons.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's just hope Jalen Walker somehow finds a way to be available at 20.
Oh my goodness!
You know what? I'm there with you on that, though.
He's there. Or maybe Tyler Warren, the guy that the Bears, if they're going to take a tight end, probably should have taken.
That would be okay too.
I don't know. Yeah, with a playmaking tight end like that guy. We have a ways to go, though. Unfortunately, we got a ways to go.
Yeah.
It looks like Dallas got their pick in. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and announce that this is the next prize round. We're going to talk about Miami for a few minutes while we wait for the pick to come in. We're not going to wait as long this time. So let's talk about Miami for just a few minutes here. Who do you guys think Miami could target? And then we'll open it up for 1 minute of guesses from the viewers to potentially win. one of these sick draft caps. So get ready for it, guys. Take it away. Who do you think we're going to be looking at for Miami while we wait on the Cowboy selection?
Ooh, that's a kind of a tough one because they could go in any number of directions. I'm not really sure where they're set at offensive line, but I would think that maybe getting somebody to keep Tua from, having another scary moment on the field would be a premium right now.
Do they replace Tua? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tua, I just don't see him lasting more than a couple seasons.
Well, let's take a quick break because that announcement came in pretty quickly.
Wow.
Cowboys select Tyler Booker, Alabama offensive guard.
Huh.
Okay.
I feel like that's a surprise. Am I wrong? I don't remember that.
You said the Cowboys selected or the Dolphins selected?
Cowboys.
No, Cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay.
We're talking about, yeah.
I can see it, though. I can see a need there. They've always built through that offensive line in Dallas, haven't they? They've always believed that offensive line is super, super important. And going with another pick there early, especially with, the kind of the struggles they had in the run game last year with a quarterback with an injury history like Dak Prescott's, I can see it.
I'm going to go ahead and drop off for a bit, guys.
Yeah.
See you later, bud.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I
It's just like a guy that I hadn't been seeing up in this high in the first round to be selected. So it just seems like a surprise.
Well, there wasn't a lot of interior offensive linemen that were on that. So I think that's the issue. Like there wasn't a lot of obviously the tackles. There was a few tackles on there that were on the high list. Not a lot of interior. If that's what they felt they needed. I mean, I think that's the best guard in the draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of them. And guys, one thing I keep hearing over and over about this draft is it's a flavors draft, right? Like every team is going to have a little bit different grade and a little bit different way they rank all of the players in these positions because all of these players do slightly different things that are going to be better fits for some teams than others. So just naturally, they're going to grade out differently on everybody's boards. And it may just be that Tyler Booker in, the staff in Dallas feels like Booker is the guy who fits what they want to do specifically at guard, as opposed to, a Gray Zabel or some of these other guys who could have been early interior offensive line picks.
Right. Well, and you saw it with the Bears pick. You saw the difference between picking a wide receiver that's more of a catching / slot receiver, or a tight end that's more of a slot receiver, over a guy that's a little bit more balanced at the tight end position. So,
right,
you're right. I can see that.
I mean, we heard that commentary, David, right? Like they're going to pick the flavor picks, like you said. But I just felt like in the first half of the first round, it wasn't going to be this way. I thought maybe for the Broncos and the people picking in the 20s, but not this early on. But you're right. We already saw it with 2 picks.
We're talking about Dolphins pick, yeah?
Yeah, let's wrap up that. Let's go for another minute or so, and then we'll open it up to the official selections in the chat. So who else are we looking at for the Dolphins?
I could see this being either Will Johnson or Jaden Barron from the Texans. And that's mostly because Jalen Ramsey is on the way out. They're looking for trade partners for him right now. So as much as all the other things that they need, they definitely going to need a number 1 quarterback because Lord knows that they don't have anybody else outside of Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I definitely see a Will Johnson there.
Yeah.
And they're talking about trading Ramsey too, so.
Okay, guys, well, let's open it up. You have 1 minute to type in a player name starting now. Whoever gets the correct guess first for this next round of who the Dolphins select will get a fantastic Denver Broncos Draft Night cap of your choice, different styles like you see here, and everything like that. So get ready for it. The clock is ticking. You have about 40 seconds left. Let's see who we got so far. Josh says Sanders. Matt, how you doing? Glad you're here. Cover some of the rumors. So far, no trades from the Broncos. So Chris says Will Johnson.
I can see that.
I can see that. I have the issue with this pro day thing, man. Everybody's saying that he was going to run like a 4.6 40, and like for any normal human being, that would be fantastic.
And he never ran. But he never ran.
Because I mean, if I told you that you were going to flunk a test, you'd skip the test if you could, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yo, this guy running down the hallway is fantastic, though. I love it.
Oh yeah, watch it. Yeah, big man running, baby.
We got a good range of answers here, so some good picks. Angelo, let's see. Angelo, Christopher beat you to the punch on that guess, but we have 2 for Will Johnson. Josh Simmons there is another one.
Yeah, Ohio State offensive lineman.
Yeah, could be one of the
David.
Voting's closed, guys. Voting's closed, so hopefully it's one of these guys so we can give away a hat.
And Simmons, maybe one of the most talented tackles in this draft, has the patella issue and some off the field stuff that might be driving him down the boards. But would be without that injury, Simmons would probably have been the first tackle taken.
Yeah, it's just hard with the knee injury at offensive line. Like those are just hard to come back from at that. But yeah, I can see it. I mean, he definitely is a talented offensive lineman.
Yeah,
and yeah, like you said, the Dolphins definitely need to protect Tua if they believe that that's the future. Because dang,
no, they need it.
Although Tua does it to himself, he's like taking off and throwing blocks and throwing his body. There's no offensive lineman that can hold him back from doing stupid stuff like that.
Right.
Install an airbag into his helmet.
I think they tried.
You wouldn't be able to see it. It'd be deployed all the time.
And put a new quarterback in.
Yeah.
That would be wild if Sanders goes to them.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Let's see. Matt is asking, what are the rumors? So far, only a couple. Let's see. Colston Loveland was the big one. Aside from Ashton Genty, that I know a lot of Broncos fans were looking at those 2 names, but just like we expected, they were going to be gone by the time the Broncos were picking. So honestly, Matt, I mean, unless you guys have seen anything on Twitter or anything recently, I mean, I'm not tracking any new rumors other than we still have some options for players that we think could be first round caliber. But, as more of these names drop off, the likelihood of the Broncos trading out of the first round definitely increases.
I think the last rumor is the Broncos trading from that 20 spot. So everything else about the Broncos so far has either been debunked or just didn't happen. So, there's a potential if the draft continues to go the way it is that somebody might trade up to get the quarterback that they want before the Steelers.
Well, and how far does Tyler Warren go? I mean, we're kind of getting this.
He's not going back to Colts, bro. Not a chance.
Well, okay, but we're getting in the territory where if Broncos seriously we're going to trade up, they're giving up a lot less here than to get into the top 10. Sure. Like there were rumors for.
Yeah. I'll be right now. I'll be mad if they tried to trade up for Ty Warren when we already have a pass catching tight end on our roster right now.
Yeah, I don't see them trading up. I don't know that there's any player out there that jumps out at me that says, okay, yeah, that's who we want to jump up 5 or 6 picks. I don't see it happening.
If we trade back, it's going to be for Travion Henderson. I don't think we trade out of the first round, but I definitely see us trading back 5-6 picks to let him fall to us.
Yeah.
Sorry, David, I had you sitting in the green room as long as some of these players are going to be sitting in the draft green room.
No worries. With my connection issues tonight, leaving me in the green room might have been the best solution. But it looks like we're okay right for now. Go ahead.
We got a name, guys. We got a name.
Defensive
tackle. Kenneth Grant, which we had no guesses on for that round, meaning we're going to go immediately over into Indianapolis.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah.
So let's cover Kenneth Grant really quickly, and then we'll talk about the Colts and do the prize giveaway again for the next round.
I want to read you what NFL.com says about Kenneth Grant. Dancing bear big man. That's the catch.
Dancing bear
who can occupy 2 gaps and close down run lanes. His pass rush value is higher than you might expect, given his sheer mass.
Indy's already in.
Yeah, Indy's already picked.
That's what they want.
And I don't want to. I'll spoil it from Twitter, if you want me to, Spotty.
We know exactly who they're going to get.
I don't have to spoil it for you. You already know. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't? Well, you're about to. Yeah, let's just say the top 2 tight ends in this class are now off the board.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's what Spotty. Oh yeah, Spotty was saying that.
Yeah, it's exactly what Spotty was saying.
He was like, there's no way he fall. As soon as Dolphins were over and he was still on the board, they probably were like, go. They probably already had it pre-filled out and was like, here, just don't even walk off the stage. Just take this.
And that's one interesting thing I've seen about Colston Loveland over this draft process too, is the amount of variance in his evaluation versus Jared. You were saying earlier he's more of a big slot wide receiver than an actual tight end. And there are definitely some evaluators around the league who agree with that. And then there's others who dive into his tape versus Warren's and say, I don't know, as blockers, they're probably about the same.
Really?
Yeah. And it's, it's another one of those players that in this draft, opinions are all over the place. And every team's going to have a little bit different evaluation and value something a little differently as well.
Poor Ty
Okay,
Warren.
guys.
Yeah.
Poor Ty. Who throwing him the football?
Yeah, right. That's gonna. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
The Colts quarterback battle is gonna be one for the ages, guys.
Wait, who is the Colts quarterback? I still don't know.
Either
Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Or
Joe Flacco, I believe.
No.
As long as Anthony Richardson feels healthy and okay and not tired, he's the quarterback. He gets tired.
If
Sometimes
this isn't
you need
Ty
a nap.
Warren, I might go.
Yeah, we're gonna do the prize round for the next pick, guys. This one came up way too quickly, so to speak. Really quickly, Matt. Not a stupid question at all. We do not have Devontae Adams, though. So,
no.
Good question. Good question.
Where's Devontae now?
Ravens, I think.
Ravens? No.
Rams.
Hopkins is Ravens.
There it is.
Is he in
The
a
last
cave
thing goes
with his buddy? In a dark cave eating mushrooms?
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone take a
Hey,
breath
guys.
for Spotty. Everyone take a breath. Spotty's not going to be good.
I mean, there's no chance. If he would have fallen past the Colts, first off, they would have been stupid. They would have been stupid.
Yeah. So Tyler Warren, tight end, going to the Colts, which makes
Guys,
perfect sense.
Jalen Walker's still on the board, and we're only a few picks away. So I'm just saying.
Here we go.
Okay. We can talk. We're at the spot. We're okay. Atlanta's going to be up. We can talk about all the available,
we
we want.
The pass rushers are all on the board.
Yes.
Except for the one that just went to the San Fran.
Oh yeah. Who'd they pick?
Who's the edge rusher?
They took Mikael Williams.
Mikael Williams. Okay. So Mike Green's still on the board. James
gonna
Pierce,
go next.
Shamar Stewart. Yeah, there's
Mike Green's going to be gone soon.
Mike Green, or it's probably going to Atlanta.
Yeah. You'd think, right?
I have seen some things going around about McMillan, right? The Arizona wide receiver.
Didn't he get picked?
He got picked earlier, didn't he? That's right. He's the big guy. Yeah. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just go over the people that are left that we would love. Jalen Walker, of course. Freaking Derek Harmon. I know that's a David pick right there.
I love that.
Walter Nolan. That's a Jared pick right there. Giad Campbell. That's a Spotsville pick. Okay. Even Mike Green would be still a good pick. Omarion Hampton. There aren't that many more picks till the Broncos.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting
not.
one of these guys is going to be available at least.
They're cruising through this, guys. They're cruising through this.
Yeah. And that's, it's like we were talking about Leggy, right? They're going to have somebody there. He had this evaluation for us months ago. Like the Broncos are going to have somebody on their board that they're interested in picking when number 20 comes. And that doesn't mean they won't trade down if they get a compelling enough offer. But like, if they don't, then I feel like they're going to have a player there that they feel comfortable picking and can help this team right away.
That's why every time I heard this rumor that we were going to trade up to get a wide receiver, it just made no sense to me.
No,
just didn't make sense. Especially we're in talks with Cortland Sutton to extend him. No.
Yeah.
Sean thinks it's going to be Matt Gold. I don't know. Or Matt, the Texas wide receiver. I don't know. Again, a lot of talk about us trying to get a wide receiver, but I think it was all talk. I think it was a lot of people just like, hey, we're going to try to do this. So maybe someone get to jump up ahead to try to buy some trade back value. I just don't see us going with this draft class specifically going for a wide receiver in the first round.
No.
I just don't see it.
No.
Let's table this discussion really quickly. Touch on who else we think the Falcons could pick, so we can go into the next prize giveaway, guys. Since we weren't able to give away a hat in the last round, who else are we looking at for the Falcons there, guys?
It's got to be the year for pass rusher there, right? It's like they every single year.
They need an edge.
And every single year, it's like, this is the year they pick that edge. This is the year. This is the year. And then last year, they Michael Penix. They get Bijan Robinson. They go Kyle Pitts, et cetera, et cetera. But it's got to be this year, right?
So what do you think? We got James Pierce, Mike Green, and Shamar Stewart are all still on the board. You think Pierce?
Mike Green.
I think Green. Yeah, I'm with Spotty. I think it's Green.
Yeah, I like Green.
So let me throw a possibility. Okay. They saw a lot from their safety tandem last year, and Justin Simmons and Bates. What if they went with the freak from South Carolina or Malachi Starks?
Could be. I think that's a good pick for them, and I think it would get. I think Atlanta fans would probably be less than thrilled with that pick, but I think that's not a bad idea.
Okay. Well, hey, guys, we're going to open it up before the Falcons get their pick in. I'm going to give you a minute starting now. Type in your selection or your pick for who's going to get selected for the Falcons there. I'm going to give you about a minute.
Clayton count?
Well, it starts when I say it starts. So if you already typed it in before I said it starts, doesn't count. Type it in again.
All right, so starting with Angela with Walker.
Yep. Angela with Walker is the beginning there. So, yeah, lots of different ways that the Falcons could go. I know they have several needs as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they get another quarterback, because why the hell not? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Clayton guesses Green.
Cincy.
Harmon.
Derek is guessing Harmon. Okay.
Harmon. Okay.
20 seconds left, guys.
They did just let go of Grady Jarrett this year. He wasn't like super effective for them anymore, but he was their really long time staple player at that position. So.
Right.
Greg
Zabel.
Okay.
Clayton did get a guess in there earlier. Green.
There we go. Clayton, you got in two now, so you're good.
You're I
don't know. Angelo might. I think Walker. You can't let Walker slide anymore, right?
You would think. I don't think he'd be here at this point.
Yeah,
he might just be one of those guys that he's kind of a tweener player, right? Like, is he an inside linebacker? Is he your edge rusher? There might teams might just not know.
He's He's a good coverage guy. Is everything I'm reading about him is he's obviously a good reader at the linebacker position, but he's a great coverage guy. So he almost plays more like a strong safety.
Somebody's going to get a good player when they draft him for sure.
Yeah. The Denver Broncos.
Well,
Atlanta's taking a long time. You think they're fielding calls?
I think they are, and I think that's probably a good bet on that. Shedeur Sanders still on the board. Maybe somebody wants to come up for Jalon Walker. Maybe somebody's trying to come up for a running back. Maybe they're trying to get ahead of the Denver Broncos, knowing they want Omarion Hampton or Travion Henderson. Maybe, guys, talking about Jalon Walker and talking about shifting the conversation back to the Broncos just a little bit, if that's okay.
Sure.
If we pick a defensive player in this first round. I want Broncos country to keep the temperature down a little bit, just because there are going to be such good tight end prospects and such good running back prospects, especially running backs in the second and the third rounds of this draft. And so if you pick a defensive player tonight, guys, just know that it's because it's the best player on the Broncos board right now.
Yeah. What year was it that we selected mid-round, and then we traded up for like the first pick on the second day to pick up somebody? Like, don't be surprised if we do that again.
Could be.
Like we can.
It shock me.
There's the year we took Drew Lock and then traded up to get Dalton Reisner, or vice versa. I don't know if you guys remember that. In second
I do.
round.
It was like 2 picks apart or something.
I walked in. Because Dalton, that's who I wanted was Dalton Reisner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was the same year we got Noah Fant, though.
Yeah, that was when we got Fant in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was Fant. That's right.
And I think we traded back from 10 to 20 in that draft. I think we were picking 10th and traded back to 20.
Yeah, George, the linebacker Bush went to the Steelers.
That's right.
Who I was wanting is Bush.
Yeah.
My mom gave me crap about it. It didn't work out for either team.
Yeah.
No, right. Yeah, for sure. All right, the pick is in for the Falcons, guys.
It took
Yes, it
freaking
is.
forever.
Yep. Yep.
They
They
did.
Good job getting the
I think they
guys
were
in,
waiting. I
guys.
think you're right. They were waiting for someone. They were waiting to take calls, or maybe making calls like, "Hey, you want the spot? What are you going to give me?"
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, it's from our perspective, it's boring, but from a GM's perspective, why not take every second that you get on the clock, right?
Sure. Especially if you got a lot of prospects already that you know is going to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Take some calls, man.
But didn't the Jags wait a while to make their pick after they traded up to 2? Like,
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Okay,
They didn't.
I was like, what? I was so confused.
And went
Dude,
fast.
this is such a screwed up setup for the NFL draft. And you telling me we couldn't have done this in Denver?
Oh, we can do I'm really interested to see what ownership does for our new stadium, guys. And if they try to go in
why
for
do we have to get a new stadium?
I know. No, you're right. You're right about that.
This shit.
No, I believe that. Man. But I also believe just from the league, like the league is always going to make they go for Green Bay this year. And you're right. It's not as if Green Bay is a better weather city. We got the pick coming in.
It's in.
All right, Raj, tell us about it while you're getting booed. Jalon Walker. There it is. Okay, Jared. All right, Walker off the board for you. And,
Angelo. Can't win anymore, Angelo.
Hanging out with you guys.
I'm done tapping out, huh?
Looks like we have a winner.
I'll be back. I'll be back when the Broncos pick.
Angelo Quintana. Mr. Angelo, you like to win prizes from us, man. Congratulations. You're a winner of an NFL or Broncos NFL Draft Night cap. Go ahead and I think I might have your information still, but send me a message anyway, just to make sure I have it. We can get you set up with whatever Broncos draft cap you want. Congratulations, man, guys. We have one more draft cap we're going to be giving away in a little bit, so stick with us. The Broncos pick is coming up very, very soon. Angelo, you weren't ahead, so you were good
would have
this
had
time.
to be
You were
pretty far ahead to catch us on that one. So, yeah.
Good job, man. Good job.
All right, Arizona Cardinals on the clock, fellas. This could be an interesting pick.
No idea.
No idea at all.
No idea.
Like if I could see them going Matthew Golden, I could see them going somewhere on defense.
2 years in a row, take a wide receiver in the first round.
Because I think I really think they like Kyler Murray. I really, I think this coaching staff came in with like an open mind about Kyler Murray and willing to get rid of him if they didn't like him. And I think they showed real chemistry last year. I think they might just decide to go all, with Matthew Golden falling down the board with a guy who has that speed, allegedly. I don't know if it showed up on the game tape, but that's something else again.
Isn't their head coach a defense guy, and they got Gannon?
They got Gannon, yeah. But Drew Petzig is their offensive coordinator, and I can see him banging the table for a guy. I know, banging the table for a guy to go line up across from Marvin Harrison. With Trey McBride in there, that trio of pass catchers, that could be really interesting. But, that's just one case. Spotty, like you said, it could be anybody.
I think it's going to be more of the same with the guys that breaking the pack up. Armin, Green, all these guys could be in the mix here. We haven't talked about cornerbacks, have we? I mean, is that for cornerback too? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about the cornerbacks too. We talked about Will Johnson a little bit earlier, right? And he didn't run at his pro day. Everybody thought he was going to be slow. And if you're going to be the first quarterback off the board, in a football league that has Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and you can't be running out your number one corner out there with 4.6 speed. And so I don't know. He's got the. I think he's got a little bit of an. He got turf toe this year, and
might have been an ankle,
something, and then he just didn't play for half the year or more. Will Johnson. So I don't know. They might like Jedi Barron better. They might go with a guy like Hairston, who at least he also has the injury concerns, but he has that speed that is, I think, a little bit more proven than Will Johnson's. I'm really fascinated to see how they go in the corner order.
I'm fascinated with just the next couple of picks because, first off, they don't directly affect us in any way. I don't unless Arizona goes running back right here with Marion Hampton.
Right.
I feel like their needs, Cincinnati needs corner and edge rusher. Seattle, they're a defensive built team, but they just lost DK Metcalf. They have to go some kind of wide receiver, right?
You think Golden is the pick because Lockett's gone there too.
Right. And then Tampa, I see Tampa going because Liam Cohen now is the head coach for Tampa.
He is. Man, they need an edge rusher though. They really need an edge guy.
Or I could see them going Jihad Campbell too for linebacker. So oh man, this is an interesting spot for the Broncos for the next 4 picks.
But we talked about it. Like we kept saying, there's this list of prospects that we wouldn't mind the Broncos drafting. One of them's going to be there. Like there's just not that many picks left between us and that. It's going to happen. So yeah, unless we trade down.
I don't see a reason to anymore. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only reason I can see for it is like we were talking about earlier, Spotty, right? Like the lack of really incredibly talented players in this draft means that if you trade down from 20 to 28 or 35 or something, you're probably going to get a player who is graded very similarly to the player that you had available to you at 20. Yeah. So if you do that and then get another 3rd round pick in this draft who has only slightly less value than the guys you're going to pick in the 2nd round anyway, maybe that's the convincing argument, but that's the only thing I could think of in favor of trading down at this point.
The thing about trading totally out of the 1st round, though, is you lose that 5th-year option, which does come into play. You might get about the same, but I don't know that you want to trade totally out of the 1st round.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely value.
Unless you're going to get a little more value than an extra pick. Maybe it's 2 extra picks. And then it becomes, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But I don't like, if you trade back from 20 to, say, 26, 25, that makes sense. But
yeah,
I don't like losing that 5th-year option.
Yeah.
Unless that position's not a premium spot. So if it's the defensive tackle.
Well,
and speaking of defensive tackles, here you go.
There's Walter your defensive tackle right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good lead-in, Spotty. That was good.
Yep. Excellent. He's
a pro.
All right. Now, Walter Nolan, guys, talked about, I think, is one of the most maybe like just traits-wise talented defensive tackles in this class. Just consistency and, again, off the field stuff, I think is more the question marks about him and can he bring the effort every single time. But like the flashes that he's shown is up there with any of the best defensive players in this draft so far.
And can they find a hat that fits his big old head? There's a lot of questions there.
Lots of questions. Only good questions too.
What are the Bengals gonna do?
What I for the Bengals right now, I think you've got to think about offensive line, right? You've got to think about any position on defense.
Need offensive line.
Yeah,
they do.
If they can't figure out how to keep that quarterback upright, they're just wasting a great talent.
And like for me, I feel like Joe Burrow is the kind of guy with the injury history he's already got, and it's like, all right, yeah, he comes back in and he's tough, right? He plays through injuries and he's tough. But I feel like on a guy like him specifically, it's going to have a toll later in his career where it's just going to add up and add up and add up. And at a certain point, he's not going to be able to bounce back quite as well. I don't know. But on the other hand, for the Bengals, any position on defense, right? Like any position on defense.
Yeah, they were terrible last year, especially in the defensive backfield. They were awful, just terrible. Yeah. And defensive tackle, I don't know. Are they running? They're running one of the Genos out there. I can't remember which Geno or Sheldon Rankins. I think they're running Sheldon Rankins out there. BJ Hill. You've got to have a better plan than that, right? At basically every position on the defensive line that's not Trey Hendrickson, who either wants a deal or wants to be traded.
So yeah, edge, defensive tackle.
I know, right?
Yeah, safety. Malachi Starks, Emanwari, drop them in there. Any position on that defense.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, we had you on the sidelines there for a little bit, so you got to sit back and listen. What are some of your thoughts up to this point? Anything we talked about stood out to you or anything like that, man?
And I really feel like the board is just kind of shaking out the way and Denver can play this any number of directions. I was bummed about Walter Nolan getting picked up. I really thought that was exactly the kind of like stash pick we could have had like on the defensive line, especially when you got Franklin Myers talking about that he would like a new deal. So that would have been nice. But there's still a lot of quality guys back there. And we did kind of see that maybe one of those teams that needed the quarterback, we are in one of those spots to where they can jump back in to possibly pick one of those guys. So
true.
Well, that's where I think it's going to go. It just seems like it's setting up that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll see, guys. But look, the Broncos are coming up real soon. 4 picks away, basically, guys. We'll be getting word from the Bengals here before too long. So it's showtime, guys. Things are getting real. We have a good look at what the board's looking like. So I think we're going to be able to start making some real solid guesses here as to what the Broncos are going to do. And it really does come down to, who do they have on their draft board? Is there anyone left that they had, with a first round grade? Everything that Leggy had been talking to us, as we've mentioned multiple times tonight, Jeff Legwold from ESPN explaining how that process works, and we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like I'm getting word here. The pick is in for the Bengals.
Yeah. Interesting. Really going to be fascinating to see which position they go here and where they I think it's going to tell us a lot about what the Bengals think of their team with this pick.
I hope it's offense. I hope they just say I really hope it's offense.
Go full send.
Full set. There you go. Pick Mason, reach for Mason Taylor. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yep. You just paid fucking Jamar Chase and T. Higgins all the money in the world. Just reach for another pass catcher.
Yeah, take another wide receiver. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, you did whiff completely on Jermaine Burton last year, who was maybe the worst character concern guy in the history of character concern guys in the NFL draft. And then it turned out when he got into the NFL, he was also a bad person.
Wait.
Whoa.
Are you telling me there are some NFL prospects that are bad character guys?
Hell, I'll tell you, there are some NFL veterans who are bad character guys.
Yeah.
There are some NFL retirees who are bad character guys. Anyway,
You're not wrong.
Anyway, yeah,
that's a different show. That's
a much different show. We'll get that.
Dude, go ahead. Who do you want to throw under the bus? Keep going.
I mean, I was going to just go with the original bad boy, Lawrence Taylor, but that's fine. There's plenty of other choices out there. Half the Kansas City Chiefs roster. Anyway, yeah, we're back in, and the Bengals. The pick is in, fellas. Final predictions, real quick. Lightning round, go.
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Angelo's got it right here.
Okay, all right. I've got 2 Will Johnsons. Jared, Bengals pick, go.
Just because I don't want to be the same as John, I'm going to go with Barron.
There you go. Jedi Barron.
Well, that's what I was going to go with, but I say screw it. We're going to get another wide receiver. It's golden.
I love it. Okay. Kev Dan, you're last up. Let's go.
I'm going to say none other than the guy that I've been looking at for a long time now. I think he's going to go off the board. Jeremy Crenshaw, top punter prospect for this year's draft.
Actually,
I'm going to guess Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart. Okay. All right.
Stewart.
That's okay. That's a really interesting. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm really glad the Broncos didn't pick Shamar Stewart.
Really?
I am.
Really?
Yes.
Why didn't you like Shamar Stewart?
Adam, I'll tell you, I am out on these pass rushing prospects who have all of these traits and all of these measurables and all of this physical talent and no stats. And like I don't know, I feel like I can't remember this exact number of sacks for Shamar Stewart, but what? We had Tyree Wilson of the Raiders. We had Javon Walker. Oh, I can't remember which Walker. The Jaguars pass rusher from a couple of years ago. Trayvon Walker. Anyway, like both of those players are just now, like people are talking about them as, oh, maybe he's starting to show something. I don't want to draft. Walker. Yeah, I mean Herschel Walker too. But just count me out on a first round pick that has that will take you 2-3 years to be like, okay, now he's an NFL player. I can't wait that long. If he's a third round pick, sure. Now we can talk about that, but I can't wait that long for a first round pick to get to the field.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh,
looks like Kev Dan. Oh,
Kev Dan is dead.
All right.
I don't know. He's probably
on to Seattle.
I mean, at that point, so I mean, if we're still going defensive line at this point, and you can still stash a guy like we were talking about, earlier, who would be a guy that you would think that would fit that now with the people that are out there?
Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to stash anybody. Somebody that's going to jump in there and start helping us.
That's it.
At this point, the only one that I kind of liked was the guy from Mississippi. That he's gone. I want somebody that's going to be able to step in and make some plays. So we're looking at running back. I don't know. I just think I don't know. I'm all in on running backs right now.
And I'll tell you, go ahead.
Well, now, I mean, it's funny that you say that because the Seahawks are on the clock. We thought this may have been, I'm sorry, because we're talking about this with the Raiders, where they would be interested in Genty. But, I mean, the Seahawks, maybe they go running back. Maybe, what do you think we got going on there? And does that mess up anything for Denver at this point?
I think it's easily wide receiver for Seattle. It's the biggest need.
Yeah,
they
it's got to
really
be wide receiver.
My question is, which wide receiver is it? Because there's no consensus who's the second best wide receiver in this draft.
Very much a flavor pick here. Very much a flavor pick.
Do they want the speed guy in goal in? I mean, he seems to be who everyone's leaning as in second best, but there's a few of those guys who could be.
No, I think Golden's probably the guy they go with. I really
That'd be my guess.
Yeah. With Lockett, with Metcalf both gone this offseason. You're trying to get Sam Darnold. And it's interesting. I know we don't talk about the Seahawks because it's not a Seahawks podcast very much. But like Darnold's deal really is, when you look at the guaranteed money, a 1-year deal.
Exactly.
It's a 1-year deal. And I think they are willing to give him that money and see if they can bridge to something else. But that to me screams more than anything else. They're looking to draft a quarterback next year. And so having a wide receiver like Golden come in this year and laying a base for that young quarterback might be a really good idea if that's the way they're going.
I don't know why you guys are talking about Sam Darnold. They have Drew Lock.
They do have Drew Lock.
On the other hand, guys, man alive, they need an interior offensive lineman. And every podcast I listened to about free agency was like, wow, okay, well, all right, so Seattle's waiting for the second wave of guards, right? And then the second wave of guards, like all of the players went and visited Seattle and none of them signed there. And so it's like, all right, what are they going to do at interior offensive line? They've got that's got to be on the table.
Yeah. I mean, the guy out of North Dakota State, Zabel, he's the only interior guy that's projected at this point to be a first round pick.
Well, before they make before they select the name here, before they announce it, sorry, John, I was going to cut you off there. Let you know that this next round for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be a prize round for the last hat giveaway of the night. So get ready for it, guys. But looks like we have a name. Are you guys ready?
Let's go.
Listo.
Okay. Gray Zabel.
Oh, okay.
Zabel's
all right.
nice.
That's a really smart pick. I think that's a really smart pick. And that was a player, honestly, I also wouldn't have hated for the Broncos to take. Ben Powers' contract coming up in a couple of years. You're still not, I don't think, completely set at center with the way Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsythe played last year. So, I think Zabel's a really good player who could play at least 3, maybe more than 3 positions on the offensive line for you.
But no wide receiver. So are they
run
receivers this year?
So they have Jackson Smith, Njiva. They have Cooper Kupp and Valdez-Scantling are all on the Seahawks now. With Sam Darnold throwing him the ball.
Well, and that's as win now of a receiving core as you're going to assemble, right?
Right.
With Cooper Kupp and Valdez-Scantling and the points they are in their career. If Sam Darnold's going to go out there and play a great year, that's fine. I think that's a fine assemblage.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, guys, we're one pick away.
I'm done everything we did. Okay, great.
We're one pick away from the Denver Broncos selection. So let's break down who we think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go for before we open it up to the viewers to make their selection for a prize, a Broncos Draft Night cap. So what do we think, guys?
Is this where Will Johnson goes here?
I was about to say, like,
is he just like off the board here now in round 1?
Well, I mean, defensive backs haven't gone at all. Not one defensive back has gone this.
Right. Yeah. No Jedi Barron. No Johnson. It's interesting. I think that edge has to be in real consideration for the Bucs here.
Mike Green again.
Mike Green is.
Yeah.
Again, there's that James Pierce from Tennessee too. So he's
for sure.
Well, Tampa Bay.
So we kind of knew this. Go ahead, Kev. I'm going to talk about Broncos.
Go for it, man. I meant to cut you. I didn't mean to cut you off. You go for it.
So this is interesting because we were talking about it earlier on the show with Spotty, and we were talking about how we're in an interesting position ahead of the Steelers, who are quarterback heavy and quarterback hungry. And are we going to get what we want out of a trade to go back 5 or 6 picks in this next pick? Because again, we have the board. And best player available aren't really needs, right? Corner, defensive tackle, maybe right there, Carmen, possibly on that defensive tackle side. But really, there's not a lot on this top board that we couldn't trade back for and still get our guy. And so are we going to take interest from some of these quarterback-hungry teams that might want to trade up to be able to pick, Sanders, for just saying, out of the Steelers' hands?
At this point, I think it's going to be Hampton if we're picking there. And trade down could be a thing, but it really feels to me like Hampton if we pick at that spot.
Right. It's the pick that always gets mocked to us, and it kind of just seems like it's been lining up that way, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
Not that I would be bad with the pick or anything like that, but it just kind of seems like that's kind of seems like where the direction's going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think we're going to drop back. I really do. I just think that it's all lining up to move back and try to get something extra because there's so many picks that we could still use out there.
Colin Cowherd made the point though that if everybody's trying to drop back to get further back, that there may not be a market for it right now either.
Yeah. Right. And with all the talk of how cheap it would have been to move up, it's also not going to be. You're not going to get a premium to move.
Not going to get a lot
in this draft.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's take a quick minute. I keep cutting you off, John. I'm sorry, buddy. Last time I did this, I swear. I love you so much. Hey, guys, you have 1 minute starting now. Type in your guesses for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting now. Whoever gets the correct guess first will win the last draft hat of the night. So go ahead and start making your selections, guys. You have about a minute. The pick is in, so we are just waiting.
I think it's going to be Jihad Campbell, man.
Oh.
Could be, Sonny.
Well, they're linebacking. They're known for the linebacking core. Devin White, Levante David. Well, I mean, getting old at this point. Long in the tooth. They need to replace that. But of course,
Devin White, another guy I wish we would have picked up.
Just one.
So.
Hampton, says Chris.
Definitely.
Derek says Henderson or
I don't know why they go running back.
but you gotta pick one, Derek.
Not with Bucky Irving and Rachaad White.
Bucky Irving's their guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Although Rachaad White, I mean, very solid back as well in his own right.
Right. I don't see them doing. I could see them doing wide receiver because Chris Godwin. We don't know how healthy he's going to be, but I could see it all be defense. Defense.
Wide receiver would be a very interesting choice for the Bucks here.
See, Saunders.
Well, both receivers are pretty. I mean, Mike Evans is super productive but always perpetually banged up, and like you're saying with Godwin, so I don't
always banged up, but always gets 1,000 yards.
Always like death tackles. Mike Evans gets 1,000 yards and eight scores. That's just what he does. Set your watch to it.
All right, the pick is in, and I know who it is. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the TV yet, but Twitter spoiled it for me. So,
well, as they come out to make the announcement, it is official, guys. Your Denver Broncos are now on the clock.
Boom, boys! Here we go.
Everything, David. Don't you know that?
I do know that. I'm not mad about it either. I am genuinely surprised at who the Buccaneers picked, though. Yep.
Wow. Yep, they did go wide receiver.
They did.
Derek, you guessed wrong, man.
Yeah, you picked.
Emeka.
You know what, Derek?
Kind of
last hat.
Godwin.
Look,
yeah.
Derek, I'm going to give it to you. You're the only one that said Egbuka. Last draft hat of the night. Guys, we'll be giving away plenty of other prizes throughout the year. Derek, hit me up. Send us a message on Facebook so we can get your contact information and figure out what draft cap you want, man. But congratulations to Derek Crenshaw. If we had more time, I would say no, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one to you, buddy. Congratulations.
David,
here it is.
Put your fingers on pause.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
we got to learn this together.
Don't worry. I'm turning on the. No, I'm streaming the draft now. Don't worry about it. Twitter's off, fellas.
Put your Twitter fingers on pause.
It's off. Now, I want to say I don't want to pick Will Johnson right here, Angelo. I don't want that. I don't want that. The medicals really freak me out. Is
that one of those very low risk picks because you have Riley Moss and you have PS2?
Sure, but I mean, I guess it's low risk in that if he doesn't work out, you still have good players there.
I'm not saying you do that. I'm not saying
not in the first round.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Not in the first round.
Jared Harmon, defensive tackle.
Okay, I love it, Jared.
I'm okay with that. I am totes okay with that. But I think it's going to be Omarion Hampton.
I do too. Yeah.
I'm not mad at Omarion Hampton.
I wouldn't be mad at Omarion Hampton.
And I wouldn't be mad at that.
No. By most evaluations, the second running back in this draft, and one of the only guys who can probably be a 3-down back for you in this draft. So that would be really interesting.
1,600 yards at FBS with almost no quarterback play. So
that's pretty substantial.
That is.
Didn't we?
Yeah,
last year.
The year before.
Yeah, the year before. Yeah,
they
were breaking in some sophomore quarterback this year at Carolina.
Yep.
I can't do another North Carolina running back.
I will not. I will not tolerate
hate on this podcast. There's going to be no Javonte hate here.
Javonte Williams slander here. No.
Competition.
No.
He played harder competition.
None, sir.
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know.
Hampton. James is guessing Hampton. Yeah. I'm saying there's about a 50% chance we see a trade here. 3 minutes left, still on the clock.
They're waiting.
I'm saying there's about a 50% chance.
We've seen 3 other teams do the same thing where they waited their time to try to see if they can get someone trade up, and nobody's done it. I don't think we're going to get it.
I think that's what they're trying to do is work the Giants and a couple of these other teams that have already picked to move to give their pick away. So Kevin,
I don't know.
I'll be thinking about you when I get up for work tomorrow morning.
Sounds good.
I think
tune in for a minute.
I think what ended up happening is if one of the quarterbacks would have went in that 10 to 15 range, I think there'd be more ask for the 20. Right now, what are the quarterback needy teams that are after us? And so it takes a whole lot less to go from, say, let's take Cleveland, who probably has 2 picks late in the second, early in the second round. It'll take a whole lot less for them to jump up to 28 or 29.
Yeah, right. I agree.
So, or better yet, 31st, 32nd. Like, who else is going to really take a quarterback? I think we're looking at second-round picks now on the next quarterback.
Yeah, you're probably
because we haven't seen a single quarterback drafted yet, guys.
No.
Well, outside of Cam Ward.
Well, outside, Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, yeah, okay. Sorry, Cam Ward, yes.
Which is weird.
Yeah, no, and there was the idea that Shedeur could fall, and there were all these quarterback talk goes crazy every single year, right? It doesn't matter how talented the pool is. You're going to hear somebody report that Jackson Dart's going at 9 to the Saints, and that Shedeur Sanders is doing this, and Tyler Shuck is going to sneak into the first round. And yeah, it's just nonsense. It always is.
But Adam, didn't somebody say that Shedeur Sanders is more like a second round grade anyway? Oh wait, that was me. I said that.
Wow, less than a minute to go. They're still on the clock.
With this free fall
patting myself on the back.
Sanders maybe this is a reality check for this young man. Because
nothing will ever be a reality check for that.
He needs it. He's got so much talent. But God bless Dion, but man.
He just got his jersey retired. He doesn't see reality checks.
No. But maybe
it's official, guys. No trade.
No trade.
Is for the Broncos.
It's got to be Hampton.
There we go.
Gotta be. And they took it down to what? 35 seconds, 40 seconds left on the clock.
They took the whole time.
Yeah.
They were waiting for the call. They were trying to get somebody to trade back for him.
But I'm okay with that. Like, we don't need to trade. We don't need to trade up. We don't need to trade back. We can just sit where we are and comfortably pick whoever falls to us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Outside the Jacksonville-Cleveland trade, it's the only trade happening in this, surprising. This is a very calm, cool, collective draft.
Now, hold on. Yeah. The Houston Texans traded 2 5ths and a 6th for a 7th round pick or something earlier today.
Yeah,
so
that was weird.
Just be careful with what you say there, Jared.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Broncos pick is in. That is very important information to share at this time.
It is. And we are going to get the pick very shortly. I mean, Hampton, Harmon, come on. One of these, right?
Yeah.
Give me.
You're not going to be mad if it's anybybody at this point.
No, I'll be happy if it's Harmon.
Yeah.
Unless it's a punter.
I'll be happy if it's anyone. I mean, I'm putting my trust in.
Will you be happy if it's anyone, though?
He would be. If it was a kicker, he would take it.
Well, if it's a punter, except for a punter. I would love to have a punter, but that's just me. This is why I lose fantasy football every year.
I won't tolerate any Matt Hawk slander on this channel either. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, guys, get ready for it.
Roger would make me a little frustrated.
All right.
We're going to have to wait for a whole spiel first.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Good cause. Don't get me wrong. But...
Sure. Oh, hooray for Samuel.
Bear with us, guys. We're quiet because we're all listening in. So
Broncos making their
a little bit
selection.
of dead air on the show here, but that's fine.
It is happening.
Hey, there he is. Brad Williams. Love it.
He's like, Roger, you're awkward.
I love it. Brad Williams just chilling with the guy with the Bo Nix face mask.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got to get him in a tailgate, man.
Yeah.
Here we go, guys.
What?
Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get a wide receiver? What?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
𝙍𝙑.
Let's talk about 𝙍𝙑, guys. This is a really interesting pick for the Denver Broncos. Adding Jared does, and I'm going to throw it over to Jared first, because Jared has the strongest feeling about this, it looks like. But the Broncos get, I think, far and away the best slot corner in this draft, and I also think somebody who has positional versatility, somebody who can play outside a little bit more than some think he can. Jared, how you feeling, buddy? How you coping right now?
I mean, I legitimately thought going into this that we'd pick defense. I just didn't think that it'd be our strongest, or currently our strongest position group that we have, and that's what's making me frustrated. I think we have a very strong secondary in who we have, and obviously we're just building on it. And maybe this is just at this point. I think I'm trying to realize this from the Broncos standpoint. Like, you're taking best player available on your draft board. If you had a high grade on this guy,
yeah,
like, good, cool. Like, let's take him. He's fast. He ran up sub 4.4, right? Sub 4.4 40. Like you said, probably a slot guy. More of those guys that can cover that deep, like specifically when we're playing guys like Kansas City. Some of those fast, deep threats. There was a lot of other options on here. I think Derek Harmon was a good option too. This one's hard. I'm gonna pass off somebody else.
If you're
for
really
me, look.
Oh no, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, no, look, and kind of like what Michael was saying in the comments earlier, I'm not smart on the draft either. Like, I get by. I lean on people like Adam and David and Spotty and Jared and John and Scott who know what they're talking about a whole lot more than I. But this is a name that we haven't really heard of at all. And so was he real? I mean, interesting. It was completely out of the blue. And with all the moves we made on free agency, which were very defensive focused, with the exception of Marvin or Evan Ingram, I think there are a couple different ways they could have gone that I was expecting. So I can't sit here and say I'm unhappy about this because I haven't had time to digest it in any way, shape, or form. But this is definitely interesting.
Yeah,
for sure. It makes
Jared
you
is still digesting.
It makes you wonder if they're not worried about Riley Moss's health.
I don't think it's a Riley Moss thing. I think it's a McMillan. I think it's a McMillan thing.
Well,
it's definitely a McMillan thing.
From rookie season to second season, there was a decline, and so.
And it's not somebody you're married to because he's an undrafted free agent. And if you think you have a chance with Moss and Surtain to lock down that defensive backfield on the outside for a long time, this is just I think this speaks to the way the Broncos think the NFL is going, with more wide receivers on the field more of the time, and the need to be in a nickel defense more often than you are in a base defense, and having maybe that nickelback being a more regular player for you than he is on some other defenses. And Jared, I think, I know you're a little bit stunned right now, but I also think you had a really good point in that this to me just says this was the best player available on the Broncos board.
Yeah.
And maybe they were a little bit surprised. Maybe they had Egbuka targeted and they didn't think the Bucs were going to pick him. And we saw them take their entire time and try to maybe see if they could get a trade that worked for them. Yeah. But if they didn't get what they wanted in compensation for that trade, I'm glad they pulled the trigger on their best player available.
Yeah. I'm curious where he was on their board, how high up he was, and if they were, how surprised they were that he was still there.
They'll say
maybe it wasn't about trading. Maybe it wasn't about trading. Maybe they were having a really hard time deciding between a pick that makes sense from a position standpoint and the guy that is the best on their board.
Yeah,
that's a great point. That's a great point.
No quarterback for Pittsburgh.
No, Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon fell into their laps.
At this point.
That's hilarious.
And I love this point from Angelo too. You've got 𝐃𝐎 𝐓𝐒 in this division. And if you want to be a team that competes with the Chiefs, and I think the Broncos think that's where they are. I think they think they are in that position. They're going to be solidly in the second place in the AFC West as long as their quarterback continues to develop on the pace that he's currently developing. And so you're going to have to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who want to play with speed, and they have Rashee Rice and 𝐃𝐎 𝐓𝐒. And you're going to have guys that can run with them on the back end at every position.
I think Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
I look at it this way. The Broncos took a look at their roster, okay, and they took a look at their needs, and they said, this is their biggest need. We have run, and I think they also see what everybody else sees. Maybe that there's running backs potentially out there. There's tight ends that are potentially out there. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, we've all talked about the Mason Taylors and the Fergusons and the Travion Henderson, Quashon Judkins that are available later in the draft. And they really looked at it and said, what is the best blue chip prospect to potentially make us better, not only now, but in the future?
Yeah.
And so they took a look at, and possibly the number one cornerback in this potential. And we know the way that all these drafts go, cornerback is a difference maker on the team.
Yeah.
Boy, and I'll tell you, I think they took a difference-making prospect potentially. Like, I don't think Will Johnson is the same level of ceiling that Jedi Barron has just as a prospect. And I am really excited that they went with a guy who I think has that better upside.
Here's what I got. So I watched it quick.
Later.
Later, brother.
Yeah. Later, man. Take care. Good to see you.
I'm looking at his highlight tape, right? Just because I knew a little bit about him, not a lot. He's very physical. I do not see him playing on the outside. I see him playing. We don't have very much depth at inside linebacker. We're going to play a 4-2 and have him sit there in the slot because he's a physical guy who can stop the run if he needs to. He's 4'11", almost 200 pounds. Sorry, 5'11", 200 pounds. 5'11", 200 pounds. He's a physical guy who can get in there if he needs to. And he's smart. I'm watching this highlight tape. Now, granted, it's a highlight tape, right? I don't know the low light tape. I'd love to see that. But in the highlight tape, like, he's breaking up passes. He's a leader on the team, telling everybody where to go. So his like that high moral character guy to be able to come in here and be on that team, and you have a corner sitting under a guy like PS2 to learn from the best. Like, if you're going to learn from someone, that's the guy you're going to want to learn from at the corner, at the defensive back position. So I get it. I just definitely felt like there was more need. I definitely thought, I really did think going into this, and I mentioned it before, that we were going to pick up a defensive guy. I was surprised that it was a defensive back. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Look what happened to the defense when Riley got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's true.
Point.
Well, and
that is true. Yes.
And there's a team building philosophy argument to make here too, which is that cornerback is a premium position on your team. And there's about 5 or 6 of those, right? There's about 3 of those on each side of the ball, and cornerback is one of them. And so if you are in a position right now where your board says, like, these are the guys on the board, it's Omarion Hampton, it's Derek Harmon, these are important positions, running back and defensive tackle, but they're probably not in the top 5 or 6 premium positions on your team like cornerback is. And if you think you have a prospect who's really highly graded at one of the most important positions on the field for you at any given time, I can see how the philosophy goes, all right, we've got to pick the most talented player at the most important position that's available, as opposed to going for a position that we might need more in this moment.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention too is, like, if Travion Henderson's still our guy, which I do believe they have a very, very high grade on that guy.
Yeah.
We can still do it. Like, they do believe at this point, with no other running backs going off and Omarion Hampton being ahead of him, right, in draft grades, depending, again, going back to what we said about teams having different grades for different people, Omarion Hampton overall has the better draft grade. If he hasn't gone off yet, that means Travion Henderson is falling to the second round, and we can go back to they can go to bed tonight and go, okay, what do we need to do to get our guy, right? If we could trade up in the second round for a lot cheaper, if nobody was taking us to draw back in the first round, let's pick a guy that's best player available, which is exactly what they did. It was absolutely the best player available on the board, and let's go see if we can get our guy in the second round. And that's still a possibility. I think a lot of this is chestnut checkers.
And
could be, but also, if you look at the next 7 best running backs available, I mean, there's some, we've talked about it a lot about the depth at running back there. They may not be seeing that much of a difference between all of these guys as far as, I mean, we all thought that Hampton was right too. And they were saying Henderson is the next guy, but maybe they see, a guy like Devin Neal, and they're like, maybe we can get him in the 3rd, 4th round, the one he's supposed to go, but and they just want to take better players, in general before the running back goes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not upset by the pick. I'm a little shocked.
Right.
But I'm not upset. I really didn't. I knew they were going to draft a cornerback at some point, a defensive back. They needed one.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe later in the rounds. So kind of a little shocked. But you know what?
It's still a good player.
We need some depth at that position. We saw that very, very clearly.
Like the Cleveland game.
Yeah. And the
Cincinnati
game.
And the Cincinnati game.
Yeah. To what they felt about the later round corners, right? Like maybe they looked at the later round corners and were like, this is not
there.
Drop off.
Like, so
now this is a really interesting Sean Payton quote from, I think the pre-draft press conference from last week. Let's not pass on the crystal for a blender just because we need a blender. And man, I think that really informs this pick. I think, talking about cornerback as a premium position and a blender, I think you can talk about running back as the blender in this analogy, right? Like, you need that, but it's something you can shop for in a lot of different places. You've got this chance to get this crystal where you're at right now.
Yeah. And again, keep in mind, guys, this is the second year of a rebuild, right? We weren't going to get all of the pieces this year either, but as we go through this draft to see who else they select, right, we're going to have a lot better idea and continue to build that depth that we're all talking about. And so these are the steps that we need to take to continue to build this team, which if the drafting is as good this year as it has been in the last couple of years, these guys are going to make some pretty significant impacts. Even if they're, the backups, they're the depth players. When they're out there, they have a chance to shine. And we saw that from last year's rookies. When they got called up, whatever culture that they've built inside that building, when they get called up, they know it's time to go. They know their stuff, and they step up and they shine. So this is where it's exciting to have a lot of rookies. Now, before we go on, guys, I just want to let you know we're going to keep covering this for a little bit longer. The Chargers pick is in, so we'll talk about that as well, since they're in our division, but we'll keep breaking down the Broncos and everything for a few minutes longer. But before we do, guys, remember we do Bourbon Broncos No BS live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, including during the off season here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, so you can get notified of all of our announcements, all the other videos that we post throughout the week, all the other content, and as in addition, so that you can get informed of all the other prize giveaways that we're going to be doing throughout this upcoming season. I know we're sitting here at late May, but the schedule is going to be coming out soon, and before you know it, it's going to be training camp, and they're going to be out on the football field before you know it. So get ready for it, guys. Got a lot of stuff coming down the pike for you, but make sure you're here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. I keep the conversation, guys. We're waiting for the pick for the Chargers, but again, I'm liking where the Broncos are right now, and kind of putting into context of that Sean Payton quote, kind of tells me that they had something like this planned. They kind of foresaw this situation going into the draft. So
and go ahead.
I came in like really finding it hard. Like, I'm not sure who they would have had to take. I mean, aside from like a quarterback, for me to really be upset. But like Scott said, was not expecting this. For anyone that's worried about his talent, I mean, ESPN even had him ranked as the 11th best player in this draft. So certainly not any sort of breach or anything like that. And I do like the idea too of, yes, we all love Riley Moss, but the fact that now we have someone that could challenge him too for a little bit of playing time. Yeah. I mean, that could make him an even better player too. So I mean, I'm not hating the pick overall. Just took me a second to digest everything that just happened.
And
I think they fully understand where he's going to play. I think he's going to be a day one starter at the slot. We're going to play a 4-2.
I think you're totally right.
Lining up in the slot. And I think that Riley Moss is going to be opposite Pat Surtain. We're going to be able to execute this with the team that we have right now, even with this pick. And I think it just kind of changes up the defensive philosophy where we're still going to be fast and quick to the ball as opposed to physical up front. And that's okay. That's been our philosophy for the past couple of years, and it's worked. So like, I'm going to let that happen. And so the other thing too there he goes.
There he goes. Our Marion Hamilton to the
Chargers.
It's gonna be. It's all right, guys. And that that feels like about right for the Chargers, for Jim Harbaugh, for Greg Roman, for what they want to do. Why not pick a first-round running back when you have Justin Herbert as your quarterback, right? Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
And when you pick up Najee Harris in free agency.
Absolutely. So back to Barron for me, guys. I feel like this is going to be one that the fans might have questions about for a few days. But I feel like if you go on to any national podcast that, and I know we don't have any love for them after what they said about the Broncos last year, but I feel like everybody is going to be talking about how much they love this pick for the Broncos. I think it's going to be, talking about, you got to go, if you got to go through the AFC, you're not just talking about the Chiefs anymore. If the Broncos see themselves as a team who is ready to go past the wild card round and really compete for divisional round games and for going forward in the AFC playoffs for a long time to come, you're going to run into Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the same team now. You're going to run into Josh Allen, who may not have the best cast of receivers, but can throw the ball anywhere. You're going to run into Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and everybody that's on the, all the Ravens pass catchers. And if the Broncos really think they are ready to compete in the AFC, I just love this from a team building perspective of how do you face those obstacles and win those games in the regular season, right? You've got to start winning those type of games in the regular season too, to make sure you get to meaningful playoff games in the first place.
Yeah, I'm curious how this is going to be received from the national media, like you said, Dave, which honestly, who cares? No one cares, right? Yeah, this is the only place this is the only place you need to come for any NFL news. Is this room right here?
That's fact.
I think it's going to be either high praise, like you said, David. It might be like a 50-50 high praise or just like grade F, like head stretching move.
I can see that. Yeah,
I think it's going to be one or the other.
Yeah,
I'm wondering how much. Go for it, Scott.
I was going to say they always bash whatever we draft, even when we have really good drafts. We're always a C or a C plus. Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what they say.
We didn't get any flack for Bo Nix, right? Everyone said that was the steal.
Everybody loved the Bo Nix,
right?
Everybody was instantly on board. Now I'm curious, how much last year and the response people had to the Bo Nix pick, and then seeing that Bo Nix worked out, how much that's going to influence people's view of this pick. They're going to say, oh, well, they were right about Bo Nix, so they got to be right about this guy too. So hell of a great pick, guys. Good job. Or is it going to be, what were the Broncos thinking? These guys are crazy. They don't know what they're doing. And it's going to be more of that kind of,
they might go the opposite direction and be like, hey, look, you did the right thing with Bo Nix, but you didn't go the next year and give him a weapon right away to enhance his offense.
Yeah.
Right.
Just speculating.
I also think that as Broncos fans, and this goes back to David mentioning it 3 picks before we actually picked to calm everybody down. I think as Broncos fans, we need to remember that George Paton has done a lot for us in the last few years. And if you look at specifically last year's draft class, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 of them to be playmakers, day one playmakers. And if you look at that list, every single one of them ended up being a starter at some point and absolutely killing it. And most of them are still starters to this day. So I want to trust the process. And yes, it's day one. I do think that we're going to get a day one playmaker in him, but I just and Barron, I'm interested to see, obviously, as the rest of this draft goes through the weekend, where we fall and what we end up getting. I don't want to put too much into like the 6th and 7th round, but at least 2nd and 3rd round, I think we get day one starters in the 2nd and 3rd round. I think tomorrow we're going to see ourselves pick up a couple more day one starters because of the way that George Paton does things, and he's very meticulous in the way he drafts and the way he views these guys. Now that I'm a little worried, I'll be honest, now that Hampton is off the board, Trayvon Henderson is the next one to go. There's not a lot of running back needy teams left in the 1st round, which is nice. Don't be surprised if we trade up in the 2nd round and try to get our guy.
Makes sense.
I can see that.
And it's just not going to cost that much now. Like, I don't think you're going to have to pay a real premium price to get up in the 2nd round if you need to from 51.
No.
Yeah,
definitely not.
Yeah, we're picking 19th in the 2nd round. We have to get up probably in the top 5 picks if he's not taken in the 1st round.
Right.
I'm curious what you guys think it is going to take. Is it going to take obviously our second and where
like maybe a third next year at
Maybe
most?
Third next year.
Yeah.
Back
Or
on his
fourth this year.
or seventh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But talking about all these other Broncos picks that we still have to wait for in the next coming days, guys, you're going to want to make sure you're here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, as we do a full-length show breakdown of all of the Broncos picks starting at 7 p.m. So make sure you are here on Tuesday. Still waiting on Green Bay to make their selection, but I think kind of time to maybe start wrapping this up, guys.
It says Ian Rappaport is getting calls that the Packers are getting trade calls to charge with more too, but I just don't think that there's enough. Same with us. I think we were waiting for trade calls. I just don't think there's enough to give away this position. But yeah, just to wrap up, yes, I think we're all in agreement. Surprised by the pick, not mad at the pick. I think that obviously the Broncos know what they're doing, and I think we got another defensive piece that is going to make our defense even better than it has been. And a good key playmaker in the slot position. I think he's going to be a day one starter in that slot position. And when you learn behind guys like Pastor Tan, best in the league, like you got a great chance to become one of the best because you're learning from one of the best. I think I saw somebody here, Derek mentioned Chris Harris 2.0. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the physical aspect of it. It'd be great if we could have another Chris Harris in the slot. And if that's what we're getting, then I'm absolutely happy about it. He's a physical guy.
Fantastic.
Super happy about it.
Yeah.
Fantastic tackler, very physical to come off blocks, which I think is another piece of this defense that we really need. Going forward, I think I'm really excited for the next round. There's going to be probably a lot more movement in the second, third rounds as we've talked about this before, right? And I don't want to take up too much time, but we've talked about this before. In the first round, there's really only top 10 first round grades. So everybody that fell after 10 is really getting a second round guy anyway. And the second round is very, very deep. So I see us getting a second round guy. We could trade up for a guy. I really do still think that Travion Henderson is our guy if we really want him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go in the first round, expect some movement in the second round. But I do think we get a running back in the second round, whether or not we got 1 or 2 picks in the second round. I think that's our guy.
Yeah. I like it. Scott, what do you think, buddy?
I think it's bullshit. They're doing this freaking draft in Green Bay.
Bring it to Denver.
Bring it to Denver. Bring it to Denver.
Yes.
Bring it to Denver. They had better weather here than they had there today, so
That's true.
It was close.
Better
It wasn't
setting.
super nice out today.
I mean, they pan out and it's like nothingness. If they
Right.
panned out there, it would be beautiful mountains.
Yeah.
Sure would be.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Those are my final thoughts.
Fair enough.
Awesome. I like it. David, what do you think, bud?
I mean, I think that Broncos country might have to sit with this for a little while, but guys, man, sit back. Once you sit with this and you learn more about Jedi Barron, because I just don't think that Broncos country really knows who that is yet. I think once you get to know who he is and see his game, you're going to love the player and you're going to love the pick. And it's going to be really, really interesting. Man, if Hufanga and Greenlaw come back in top form this year, this defense is going to be something to watch, guys.
It's going to be fun, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like we saved the best for last. Johnny boy. Good Sir John. What do you think, buddy?
Is that how you pronounce it? Jedi? Are we?
I believe it's Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jedi.
Like Jedi, but like Jedi. Yeah.
Jedi.
I say things usually just to see Jared's reaction, just so you guys know. Like,
Yeah, we don't listen to what you say, Kevin, so it's all good.
I don't listen either.
Just looking at the early reactions, ESPN, they're saying this is an early win, one of the better picks of the first round. So I think you're right, David. Interesting pick. Didn't see it coming. Will be very interesting to see how tomorrow goes with our 2 picks. And if we do see any movement, I don't know. I won't be surprised if we sit where we are, and they have higher grades on some of these other running backs than we think. But I'm happy with the pick. Not what I expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think consensus from all of us is let's wait and see. Let's see this guy in action. and see why the Broncos picked them in the first. Again, if there's anything that can make the defense scarier than it already is, I mean, this is a team that did so much last year with so little. And as we continue to build this team through experience, through depth, through, hopefully some really solid drafts, this is a team that's going to be very, very competitive before too long. And you're not going to be talking about, are the Broncos going to make the playoffs? It's how deep in the playoffs are they going to get? And it's going to be, shortly after that, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. And I very fully believe we're on that path. So look, guys, congratulations to 𝙇𝙑 𝙑𝙀, cornerback from Texas. Glad to have him on the team. Looking forward to see what he can do for us. I want to say thank you to Jared, Scott, the flag man, David and John and Spotty and Adam, all you guys that helped us out with, tonight, as well as, again, Gary, who works with us behind the scenes with some of the comments and other stuff. So thank you to all of you guys for the support. And, of course, to every single one of you viewers, all of our VIPs tonight who have been hopping on and commenting and watching us throughout the draft. Again, congrats to James, Angelo, and Derek, the 3 winners of the draft hats tonight. Again, if you guys are still here, make sure you send us a message on Facebook so I can get your contact information and your address, figure out what hat you want, and get your prizes shipped off to you guys. It's our 10th anniversary here at Bourbon Broncos and OBS, so there's going to be a lot more prize giveaways coming down at the pike. And as soon as the season starts, you're going to hear a lot about them. But that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you back here on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for a full-length episode of Bourbon Broncos and OBS as we break down the draft. But after almost 3 hours of talking, I got nothing left to say, guys, other than end this as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, do what I like, yeah, do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.